live.
The squirrel in the front yard.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. I think we're live.
And we are live.
Hey!
I didn't push the button.
You're listening to the Beans and Dice
Can't even
podcast,
see me over
a
here.
podcast about how we game.
Where you at? Way down there.
Hey, there we are.
Hey, folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, the podcast about...
A wigger.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
Dan. And Wayne.
Dan's just screwing with us already.
The boys are back in town.
We are packed in like sardines tonight.
Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast. We are a podcast about board games and tabletop geekiness.
Nerdy
and
stuff.
on Thursday nights, we take your phone calls to talk about your love of board game and tabletop geekiness. Tonight, we have a full house all the way from Seattle. Our man, Mike Lorenzo, usually joining us via the StreamYard.
Yeah.
From all the way across the country. But thanks to the hurricane, he's in town for some work. So we have the opportunity to bring him in the house, get some games played here, enjoy some time together like the good old times.
Well, what?
Like the good old times.
Thanks, Milton.
Yeah, good old times. These are all bad times right now. Yeah, they were some good old times back in the day. Yeah.
And Dan.
And Dan?
When was the last time Dan was here?
Dan's not been on the show for a hot minute.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So he's crawled out of his hole. He got power back. Yay! From the
Yes.
hurricane.
7 days, no power.
7 days, no power. He set
Awesome.
a new record. Mm.
Did you stay at your shop at all? Like, did you ever go there?
No.
Is that occupied now?
Yeah, we got two tenants.
Okay.
Oh, for those of you at home, Dan was the owner of Your Turn. He ran Your Turn in Zephyr Hills, Florida. It was our only gaming cafe in the Tampa Bay area.
Only one I know of. That was
Yeah.
a full gaming cafe. Yeah,
Full
with
board
food,
gaming cafe, the only one in the
food.
area.
beers. Yeah, the whole.
It was great.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
It was.
And it's missed. It's wholly
it
missed.
is. It is.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Wayne, how you doing over there?
Doing good.
Hopefully things are I know we talked last week. It was just you and I. It was a small show. We upgraded it to a big show this week.
Woo.
I'm hoping things are getting better over there at the Kruger household. And
A little bit. Still a long way to go, but yeah, getting
Little
better.
bit.
any gaming?
No, not a game.
Not a game.
Not a game.
I am going to go get a magnet for Rob because
Yeah, go
Rob's going
ahead.
to update his board
Yeah, I'm
with
gonna
his
update-
September
Yeah,
stuff.
I missed last week's show, so I got to update my board real quick. I'll tell you though, as Carlos is grabbing me a magnetic strip, there is going to be one edition for the month of September. So
That's
one
pretty
a big
rough.
one. Yeah, actually, I was looking. I was embarrassed to say we were pre-show chatting. I played 2 games in the whole month of September. That is crazy, but I had a lot going on.
That'll be me this month. I have so
Really?
far played 0 board games in the month of October.
I've got 10 so far this month, so I'm eclipsing last month. But yeah, so I will have one update. I played 2 games. One of them is going to make the board. I'll give a hint already that it's give some of it away. It's already on Carlos's side of the board, and it's a game I played with Carlos in September and introduced him to. So anybody who's up on the show, you can probably guess what it is. But he's going to go grab me a marker and a strip so I can get it on the board. But yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in. Yeah, I might as well. So the one edition I have, and I'll go ahead and throw it out there if you haven't come up with it yet. It's currently number 18 on Carlos's board. It's Res Arcana, a game that Mr. Lorenzo turned me on to years ago. He was a big fan of this game. I don't know who had you played that game with. I know you had played it quite a bit before I played, but
I think I bought it on release day.
did you really? Wow! So that was I hadn't played it till it'd been out.
2019. That was my game of 2019.
Yeah, for a year or two, and then you introduced it to me probably at a dice tower or something, and we had a chance to play, and then I pretty much immediately fell in love with it. We talked about it, or the guys talked about it. Actually, I haven't been on the show in about a month, but I know they talked about it just a couple of weeks ago. They went through all the details. Carlos talked about how much he's liking it because he likes the engine building. It's resource collection, resource transmutation. You're doing a lot of tapping cards and playing cards.
Engine building.
Transmutation. Yes, Carlos yells from the other room.
That's what it's
Transmutation.
called.
Yeah, conversion, transmuting. Yeah, you got to be a little more in the flavor there, Carlos. A little theme, transmuting.
All right, that's really far down there. Can we pass this down?
Oh, I can't hear you over there.
Are we sure that's actually Rob and not like a doppelganger with the beard that he's?
Yeah, that's the thing. So this is 6 weeks worth of. So I just started this probably last time I was on the show. I turned 50 this year. Woo!
Hey, welcome to the club.
Well, thanks. thanks. And so this was just a new thing I figured I'd try out for a little while. We'll see if it sticks. But
He grew a beard.
another big announcement while I'm talking, it went kind of unnoticed, but this guy over here on the other end, Carlos, had a birthday 2 days ago. So happy 30th birthday, Carlos. Hit the big 3-0. No.
No. The faux baby. The faux
44?
44.
You have a,
Yeah,
you have a
youngin' here.
soundboard?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, you're the only
See,
one.
but I'm normally not on this side of the board. It's like Rob's happy because I don't get access to the soundboard often.
Completely.
It's a long stretch.
Absolutely.
So you're the only one that's not at least 50.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm not 50.
He's the baby of this.
My man,
there you
Wayne.
go,
Oh,
Wayne.
Wayne.
I forgot you were even here.
He's remote, but
Wow.
I wasn't
right.
cool enough. So.
yeah, being remote's still okay, Wayne. But
Oh, there it is. Yeah. So we
I
got.
got to
people
get a
in the-
mixer board with 5 inputs.
Got
That's,
people-
that's what I'm working on.
People
many
in the
outputs?
chat there with the doppelbeard. So make sure if you're in the chat, say whether or not you think Rob should keep the beard.
yeah, zoom in over here. Let me show this
Yeah,
thing off.
come
a little
on.
bit.
Well,
Get-
it's kind of hard.
get-
Everyone's gonna say don't keep it because look at the magnificent beard on Dan. So it's
Well,
kinda
yeah,
hard to
it's
compare.
hard to compete with Dan. So I've got at least another 12 months before I can.
Well,
he is.
There it is.
Oh, there. Yeah.
There you go. Look at that thing, man.
Yeah, it's starting to come in. So we're working on it. It's the baby beard.
So let us know if you should keep it. Plus, I've been unemployed for like a decade, so I can grow a beard.
All
so.
right, that's all right. Yeah,
Unemployed.
I worried I had to fly out to Nashville Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to see my boss for the first time in a couple years in person. I thought she might freak out, so I was a little worried, but no, she was cool with it. So,
All right, back to games.
all
Come
right,
on.
back to games. So Res Arcana is going on my board. So what is coming off? And this hurts because I really like Ra, but Ra is in the 20 spot, and so that is going to come off temporarily. Although I'm going to give a little teaser, I did play Ra within the last couple of weeks, and so there's a good chance that might be returning to the board here pretty quickly. But
You know, if you say Reiner's name 3 times in a mirror,
he shows up.
uh-huh.
Do I have to say his whole name? Rainer Knizia? Rainer Knizia? Rainer Knizia?
Watch out, come behind you like P. Diddy.
He just jumps out of there.
Like Pete did.
Okay. So Terminus is going to slide down to 20. Too Many Bones is going to go down to 19. Return to Dark Tower going to 17. Ooh, Ethnos. Ethnos versus Res Arcana. Oh, that's where it starts getting ugly. These are 2 really good kind of, I would call classic games here. Well, Res Arcana is not as classic, I think, to me as Ethnos is, but Barcelona above that, Village. All right, so I got to figure out where this is going to go in here. Res Arcana.
I think you should just keep reading all of them.
Well,
yeah.
I will hit them all, but yeah. So Barcelona's at 15. That's going to slide down to 16. Village is going to slide
There you go.
to 15. Comic Hunters is going to go to 14. Manhattan Project. Ooh, now we're getting into tough territory. That's going to go to 13. Darwin's Journey is going to go to 12.
I'm okay with that.
Underwater Cities.
I can't believe Darwin's Journey is above all those games you just mentioned.
Oh, Darwin's
I-
Journey is
I'm with
so
Wayne.
good. I love it. I'm playing it so much on BGA right now. I've played I'm in my 4th or 5th game. Oh, it's so good. I'm liking it more and more every time I play it.
Oh, we got Mr. Jeeves in the chat. Says, Rob, you're a man now that you have a beard.
Woohoo! I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
What does that say about me?
Finally growing
Jesus.
up. Oh, well.
Dude,
And I'm the oldest one here.
Take the compliment, Mike.
You're
all right.
smooth.
I am going to put it. I'm going to put it under. Man, I'm really liking Underwater Cities. I think it's going to go under Underwater Cities.
You're
So
putting it under
underwater cities.
Wait,
Yes.
is that below or is that a...
Below under. Yeah, it's going to be. This is going to slide in at 11. So
Sliding in at 11.
Underwater Cities is going to be 10, Imperial Settlers at 9, Undaunted 8, Aquatica 7, Castles in Burgundy at 6, Destinies at 5, Tyrants of the Underdark at 4, Blood Rage at 3, Endeavor Age of Sail at 2, and Dune, the only real Dune, Imperium, not Uprising, at number 1. So that's it. So Res Arcana hitting the board at number 11.
I can't believe it. Underwater Cities beat Res Arcana.
That's a tough one. They are very different games. Underwater Cities, Underwater Cities is definitely a longer, thinkier game. Res Arcana, I'm loving the quickness of it. Once you get down the basic rules, there's some iconography you got to learn in it, and some little conversion rules. A couple little things I know. Transmutation.
I'm sorry. I really do not believe that is the correct word. Like,
No?
transmutation.
There's an actual. There's one of the cards
card.
that you choose that
Yeah.
actually says
that
transmutation
you
on it.
can tap. Yep, you can transmute
Oh, so now it's theme. Okay.
English is
Said
not
Robert
always-
for the first time ever.
ever. So that is my new board. So one addition to the board.
Read them all off again.
Nope.
Exciting.
That's it. Take a picture. Figure it out.
All right, folks. That's the update for Rob's board.
We'll get
at
Mike when he's back in Seattle, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not,
It
you're
was
not ready
cool.
to.
Because
You're
it
not
was
ready
cool
to update
Excel
yours.
with all the pictures. Of
He's
the
got his
game.
Excel
He's
on
looking
his
at it
phone.
right now.
My
He's
Excel on
furiously
me.
typing
And-
away, so he may.
Oh no, I can get him a camera. We can put that bad boy right here. He can show it.
I'm thinking here because I looked at my games that I played last month. I only played 15. Well, only 15.
Only
games.
15 compared to my 2.
Well, I had 15 plays, I should say. I played
Oh.
Scout more than anything last month.
Okay.
But I did play some Robotrick. I played Planet Unknown. Haven't played that one in a while. Played Mission Red Planet for the first time.
Oh.
I only played 3-player, though, so it kind of fell a little
yeah.
flat for me. But
Yeah.
we were stuck on a cruise, so...
Oh, I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, exactly. Mission Red Planet with 3 players on a cruise.
I know, it's horrible.
Torture.
I did play Dead of Winter, but we didn't get to finish the game, so I don't count that one. But the one game that I did play that I think will make my list is, and we were just discussing this, was Clank in Space.
Oh, such a good game.
Yeah, and I haven't played that since I lived here in Florida, I think. So
Maybe still my favorite Clank. I don't know. I played Catacombs once. Catacombs is good. I need to play. Catacombs has an expansion that I need to try, but I really like Clank in Space.
Yeah.
They fixed a lot of things in Clank for me just by requiring you to have to do certain things.
Yep.
With the original Clank, just being able to kind of go in, grab a few things, and get right out. I didn't love that. But I love that they make you go all the way through the ship to the end and then all the way back. So,
yeah,
yep.
I did hear. I mean, have you ever played regular Clank with all the with any of the expansions?
I
think the first
have
one
not.
fixed that issue of like running in and running out really
Did it?
quick. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right.
But anyway, I think it will make my list. I'm not going to go through all my games here, but Minnow Dice is number 20, only because I haven't played it in a long time. Then Kanban EV, I'm going up with where this is going to land. So Revive is 18, Arcs is 17. It's a Wonderful World is 16.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Scythe is 15.
See, this is where it gets weird because Mike throws in these smaller box trick taking games.
Man, they're good.
Don't belittle the little trick takers.
It's not belittling; it's just the comparison.
It's hard to compare.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
Do we not say it's how we felt, like how good we felt when we played
What the
game,
experience
or what
was?
the
We
experience
say that,
was?
but then we still judge you for making those
Oh, okay.
decisions.
Wayne, Captain Sonar.
Captain Sonar.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. hey, you missed it, Rob. That fell off my list finally.
Oh no, I was
Oh,
listening
nice.
last week. Actually,
Okay.
I listened to afterwards. I didn't catch it live, but I caught it after the fact.
So I taught this game. So I taught it to 2 people that are still kind of new to gaming, and they absolutely loved Clank in Space. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to slot in. Oh man, I still don't know.
Who's not
Gravy,
decided?
Scythe, Bacon, Hanamakoji. I think it's okay. It's going to slot in at number 13, in between Isle of Cats and Hanamakoji. So Isle of Cats is 12, then Clank in Space at 13, and Hanamakoji at 14, which is going to push Minnow Dice off. But once I play that again, I know it's going to make
Make
the
a
list.
return, yeah.
Without a doubt.
All right, hit him with the top 20.
Oh,
Go
really
down.
quick?
Go down the list. Yeah.
Oh, good gravy. All right. Starting from 20 down, Kanban EV, Revive, Arcs, It's a Wonderful World, Scythe, Bacon, Hanamakoji, then Clank in Space, Isle of Cats
At 12.
at 12, Bone to Pick at 11, Guards of Atlantis 2 making the top 10, Pagan, Fate of Roanoke at 9, Brass Birmingham, then First Light at 7, Robotrick, which these guys are going to be talking about here in a moment, at number 6, Struggle of Empires at number 5, Detective City of Angels at number 4, Tyrants at number 3, the Seventh Citadel at number 2, and number 1 is Mansions of Madness.
Good stuff.
There you go. Our top 20 boards are up to date for the month. We're only a couple weeks out.
Yeah, for the next one.
And
We have
Rob and Wayne are working real hard to get games for that one.
I'm trying. I gotta touch on something from last week's show. So, Raccoon Tycoon, Wayne.
Yes.
I saw made your list. I have been wanting to play that game for
Good.
at least 4 or 5 years. I know
you'll
Carlos
like
said he never had. Well, you'd heard of it, but you had no interest in playing it. I wanted to play that game for so long, and so I know you talked about we need to get in and get a game of that. The 3 of us or 4 of us
be
or
good.
whoever.
Yeah.
But I'm dying to play that game.
Knowing how much you enjoy like Raw and Medici or like
Yep.
those like Raccoon Tycoon's good.
Yes, I
You'll enjoy it.
really want to play it. Stock market manipulation. I loved the again. Y'all talked about it last week. The Reiner Knizia, the little animals game that we played.
Botswana, was it?
Botswana. Yeah, that I really liked that game, and sounds like there's some similarities. Obviously, there's a lot more going on in Raccoon Tycoon, but and then Lizard Wizard was the kind of follow up. I think Raccoon Tycoon was first, and then Lizard Wizard was the next one, and it adds even more to it, from what I understand. So, but yeah, that's one we've got to get played. So.
I had no interest in playing it until Wayne described it. And once he described it, and I saw the tracks along with the. See, I thought it was just cute animals. I didn't realize the cute animals represented stock in train companies.
Right.
So now I'm interested. Wifey was at Target, and she called me. She's like, "I'll look for it. I'll see if I see it there." And unfortunately, we didn't see it at Target.
Yeah. It was there. I don't know if it's there anymore, but it was.
They've got it constantly at Barnes & Noble. I see it almost every time I go to Barnes & Noble. So
One of us has to buy it then.
Yeah.
Well, I think Wayne has it.
I don't know. I don't own it, but I'm probably I might buy it because it's in there. That the one aspect of it that you're gonna hate is the bidding, Carlos, and it's the one thing that I love. I love just messing with people's minds about like, what are you willing to pay for this train?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go 31? I'll go 32. You go 30. I'll go 34. Just like
good stuff. Yeah, I like that too. That's why I like Raw, is calling Raw, forcing people to bid on stuff that they didn't necessarily want, or how bad do I really want that? Do I want to spend my 12 to get that? Actually, Dan played Raw with us. Did you not?
Dice Tower.
Yeah, no, that was over at my house.
Just over. Oh, was that your place that we played?
yeah.
That's right. Game day a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Dan got his first taste of Raw. So let's go completely off topic here. I know we probably have some kind of agenda, but Dan, what'd you think of Raw?
That's very gracious of you.
Do you know the show?
is
Do you
no
know
To
the
agenda.
show?
assume that there's an agenda.
Have you met us?
Okay, all right. So I want to get Dan's opinion on Raw, because he said he liked it. He said he would play it again. But what did you? You had a little time to marinate on it now.
I think you just summed it up. That's exactly what I would say. I would
Kinda
say
messing with
I
people?
liked it, and I want to play it again.
Okay, all right,
Sweet.
all right. I took the words
No,
out of your mouth then, but yeah.
Not a solid opinion on it yet because it's just one play.
Just one play.
So
Okay.
And
cool.
you didn't play. You didn't play with us at Dice Tower.
No,
No.
I think that was his first time. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Because I know I played it with you, Rob, and somebody else.
I think we did. I've played it three times,
Yeah.
4 times now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I've only played it once, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I like
but
it a
I
lot.
think with the way you guys are talking about that, I think you would totally love Ponzi Scheme.
Probably.
also.
Yeah, I know you've talked about that one before. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, Mikey, you got to play the Triumvirate. You got to play Raw, Medici, and Drum Fabric, Hollywood Blockbuster, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
All 3 of them are just solid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've heard.
Yep, they're all
Weird.
Heard. That's what I heard.
That's what I'm
Hey,
hearing.
and he's back in Florida in a second. He's already got that accent back.
How y'all doing?
Got rid of the Seattle accent already.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wanted to say though, Dan, do you know the reason why Mansions of Madness shot to the top of my list?
does it have something to do with Mason?
Well, it has something to do with you.
I was
Oh,
saying,
yeah?
that's have
What'd
something
I
to do with Dan, right?
when we went to Dice Tower West, so my son Mason and Dan met me there, and we played. We played Mansions of Madness, and we're just like, let's just play one of the shorter ones, So we look it up, and we played. If those of you that have played before, and Wayne, you'll know what I'm talking about. The one where it's like the mer people, like you're in this town, and then like this mob comes for you.
That
And
one sucks, man.
yes, we played it twice because the first time we got our butts handed to us so quick, but I think it was the second time we were playing, or maybe it was, I can't remember, but it was the fact that we're on the back side of the building, like where all the docks are, and there's this huge mob of people, and Dan's like, I'm going in, I'm going to throw this dynamite. And we're like, Dan, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't care, I'm throwing it. He throws the dynamite. He's like, I'm 2 spaces away. What could go wrong? Well, he throws the dynamite, and it has a blow radius of 3 spaces.
Blast radius.
Blast radius of 3 spaces. And Dan ends up dying, and I think we lost the game because of that. But
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
we died laughing so much. Like, as soon as he flipped it, like, you read the backside of the card, and it was like, everything within a 3 movement radius.
Just disappears.
Yeah, that was in between our plays of Tyrants of the Underdark.
Tyrants of the Underdark, yeah.
All
Yeah.
like 7 or
7
8
times, I think it
plays,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
The
Nice.
first time I played that scenario with my wife, we've done it a few times now. I got stuck on the dock, and there were the mob coming down the dock. I'm like, well, I'm not getting out of this. Boom.
Drop the dynamite.
Oh, and then I think the other time we played, Dan, he lost his he became insane or whatever, and his card said, I think it said something like, you must always take the first action or something, or don't listen to other people.
Oh yeah, I had to. Yeah, something like that, where I had to like stay away from you guys, or it was something weird.
I think you were the one that had to make the first move, because every time we were talking about
that's
Dan's
right.
like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
We're like, what the hell, Dan? What are you doing?
Just
that
butt on
was
in
it,
there.
yeah.
Do what you're going to do.
Yeah, but
Nice.
yeah, so that game is so much fun. So much fun.
I'm going to use that as an opportunity to throw a quick plug since we're talking Mansions of Madness. Not this weekend, but the following weekend, which is going to be the first weekend of November. We're doing our second Saturday game day. So oxymoron there. So first Saturday, we're doing the second Saturday game day. I'm going to be out of town.
November 2nd.
Yeah, I'm going to be out of town, unfortunately, but right, exactly. November 2nd. So second Saturday, that still kind of works, right? Saturday the 2nd?
Sure.
Anyway, we're doing our game day. Alex Whitman has graciously volunteered his home again. We played there last month. Nice place. He's got a lot of space. He's got a lot of tables. He's had a room there for probably about 30 people. We had about 12 or 13 show up, and we broke out into 3 different groups, played 3 different games. We had a table, people playing some lighter games. We had a couple of brand new gamers. We had a hardcore 4-hour game that we broke off and played, and so we got all different levels. We played a big. All of us jumped into a Welcome to game. Welcome to.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
What were we gonna say, Dan? I see you're perking up there.
What was the name of that game we played at the end?
The Civ Builder. Let me look it up while we're talking. But yeah, so Alex has agreed to host. He makes his place available as early as we want and as late as we want. He was actually disappointed last time. It was right after the hurricane that people left early. We left at like I don't know, was it 6 o'clock ish, and he was planning to go to midnight.
Yeah.
But the party kind of broke up a little early. Everybody was looking to get home, and
Well, some of us had to get back to no power. So.
exactly, you got to get back to the dark, so that was good. But yeah, let me look. So we played. It was a brand new Kickstarter that he was that Alex was dying to play, and I'm going to hold off on my full detailed in-depth look at it. But what was it? Rise and Fall was the name of it.
Why are you holding off?
Yeah, well, I'm going to do a full in-depth discussion of it when we hit our October games.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk about it now. I mean, well, you're here. We can talk about it.
We can get first impressions.
Yeah.
You don't have to put it on the board.
Spoilers can make your list, apparently.
Mine, unfortunately, it is not.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Never
nice.
mind.
Yeah. Unspoiled the spoiler.
It is-
Unspoiled, because like, why would we have a deep conversation? It's not gonna make your list, right? It's garbage.
Well, yeah, I think Dan just, again, since Dan's here, we probably should just take the opportunity since we both played it. It was a brand new Kickstarter. It had only been out, I think he said, for
describe the game.
a month or two. So let me see if I can get a BGG description, or if Wayne can maybe pull something up on that as we talk. But
Or Dan, you can just tell us what the game was about.
yeah, well,
That- it's a thing,
builder.
too.
It's a Civ builder.
It
so-
was about playing a game really slow and not having fun.
Yeah, it was. Alex really enjoyed it, so I gotta be careful because I don't want to piss off the guy who's hosting our next game day. But
Oh,
You're not going to be there. What do you care?
well,
that-
no, I am going to be there. That's the
Oh,
reason
you
we're
are gonna
doing it
be
on
there.
the second. I can't be there the second Saturday.
is he listening?
That's right.
Yes. He might be. Probably.
Hey,
not,
Alex.
but-
He
Hey,
will be
Alex.
eventually.
So
I did not like that game.
yeah, I did not
what
either.
was the name? What was the name of the game again?
Rise and Fall, I believe. RISE and FALL. I might be an ampersand in the middle. But it was a pretty game. I'll say it was pretty. The components were incredible. The little wooden, call them meeples, but they had little wooden boats. They had wooden carriages. They had little cities.
You don't feel that was a little overproduced?
Oh, it was way overproduced.
Okay,
So,
thank
yeah,
you.
say,
All right.
say that it was beautiful is and overproduced is hand in hand. Wayne will pull up some photos here, some
do it,
pictures.
Yeah, that's it.
As we discussed. I mean, it was a Civ builder. I mean, it was. Before you start the game, you build the board, and so you hand out all the water pieces, and that's level 1. So everybody takes turns one by one by one. You just place these board pieces. You can see there in the pictures of
Looks
the water.
cool on the table there.
Yeah, and then second, everybody.
That's about it.
I think Secret Cabal did recently.
Did they?
Did a breakdown of this game.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they were much more nicer about it than
Were
you
they
are.
really? Oh, it was the three of us, and even
Because this one has the tiles almost like Atlantis Survive.
yeah. Mhm.
Where they're thicker and thinner to represent hills, cliffs, and stuff.
Well, they're all the same depth, but you stack them up. So the first level, again, is all water, and then you go around the board and you all place land tiles. And so you have these smaller land tiles. You place all them till they're all
And you
out
work together to build this world.
before you even start. And Alex thought it would be a good idea, before he explained any of the rules of the game, to have us go in completely blind. And
Well, that's
build
what the Secret
board.
Cabal said to do
that
on their
was-
podcast.
that was-
They said just before you teach any rules, just work together to build a beautiful land.
Horrible idea.
Yeah, that was a bit.
Yeah, that was a
that did
bad
not work
idea.
out.
Dan and Alex's girlfriend were building these canals, just like these fingers, that completely ruined the game. I mean, it made it impossible to do anything.
We played in Venice, Italy.
Exactly. So,
I mean, if I would have known the rules, I
Yeah.
would have ruined it even worse.
well, you probably would have,
Yeah.
but yes. But anyway, so we build the thing, and I don't know how to get it. It's definitely a Euro Civ builder.
A very, very
Slow.
very, very slow
Wow.
civilization game.
Yeah.
That is a huge table presence. So look at that map.
Yeah, it
we
looks
get through
great.
here.
Yeah, we
It
played.
looks great, but good lord, that looks like a 5-hour game. That
It was 3.5 to 4 hours that we played.
And we quit.
And we quit. Alex kept wanting to play, and I looked at the other three. And I said, Alex, I really don't want to ruin your good time. I said, but I think you're the only one who still wants to play this game. I said, I think we need to take a vote of who's done. And three of us raised our hands. And Alex was like, really? I'm loving this game. And we were like, nope. I was done with that game at least an hour before we
Was it
quit,
just
so.
the downtime in between turns, or what was it?
There was downtime.
The moving the things you can do on your turn
Yeah.
are so limiting. You can only do like you'll move like one thing. You'll be like, well, that's it for me, and then you just wait until it comes back around.
Yeah,
to you.
some of the description that I
happens.
saw about this game is that it's almost like Concordia, where you're playing a card to
Right.
take an action.
Yep.
But except in this game, you have to play all of your cards before you can pick up any cards. So it's not like you
Right.
can manage what cards you want to play. You're going to
Yeah.
have to go through all of your cards.
You get
I
stuck
hear
with
you.
cards that you
Okay.
don't want to play. And
Right,
it's like-
but you have to play them in order to
Right.
be able to pick up other cards to go back and, I don't know, build a new city. You want to build a new city? Well, I guess you got to start a war because you got to play your war card, even though you don't want to go to war.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. And, so,
No, I'm saying like I love Concordia. The idea of like I play the cards I want, and if I don't want to play these now, I can just take a turn and pick it up. Like,
yeah.
But if I had to play if you take a Concordia and you have to play every card before you can pick it up, Concordia would suck.
yeah.
What control do you have
Yeah,
Not much.
Yeah.
the order.
for 4 hours?
the pieces
Yeah.
look amazing though. I love
We
these
were
little towns
4
and
hours
stuff.
in. Yeah, we had met a third of the objectives for the end game in about 4 hours, and we were like, I was like, this is not going to end anytime soon. So I was like, we might as well just call it a day and be done with it. So I made the mistake, and it was my mistake. Alex did a good job of teaching the game, but I built a city. I was like, well, let me build a city over where nobody can mess with it. I'm going to put it all the way over on the edge of the board, not realizing that the type of little town that I built, the bonuses that it gets are all dependent on foreign trade, other people having stuff around it. And so I built it in this remote part of the board. So every time I played that, so that becomes a card in your hand once you build that type of
Let
city.
me isolate myself.
So every time I played that card, I did absolutely nothing on that turn. It was a completely wasted turn. So I would just play the card and be like,
man.
all right, that's my turn. I'm done. And wait for the next person again. So yeah. It's one of those games that if you don't know what you're doing and you make a mistake, you can
Painful,
be 4 hours of just, I can't win this game. I can't win this
You're
game.
listening to the Beans and Dice podcast.
Oh,
All right,
oh,
so we're going to open up the phone lines now. 813-618-7099 is the number. We are the Beans and Dice podcast. We are a podcast about how we game, but on Thursday nights, it is about how you game, where we take your calls to talk to you about what you've been playing. Phone lines are open, 813-618-7099. Call in. Let's talk board games.
Woo.
Yeah, the
Do you
components.
want me to call in?
Yeah, call in.
Somebody
Chester's
call.
made the comment that components look really. That game did the
Oh, it
printed
was.
meeples looked really cool. Looked like you could stack them up on each other. They looked
Yeah,
cool.
they were, and we threw in some expansion stuff, which I'm a big. We've talked about this on the show
bad
before.
idea.
Yeah, Jim likes to throw. Jim, Nodak in our group is notorious for he likes to play everything.
Well, he's got like a mental illness.
Yeah, he's
now,
like, let's
so
just
yeah.
throw it all in. We'll learn it all. Let's do it all. Alex threw in just a couple of the expansions on this one, and again, it was there was a dragon that was flying around destroying stuff. There was a tidal wave that was moving around the board. I mean, it was just a lot to keep up with, a lot to grok. But
In the chat today, Jim Odak.
oh yeah, there he is. Hey, Jim.
Hey, it's crazy Jim Odak. What's up, buddy?
But no, I've played. What did I play? Was Cthulhu Wars with Jim, and he was like, let's just throw in all the expansion stuff. And then what was Underwater Cities? First time I played that, Jim threw everything in. Tricarian, the first time we played that, it's like, let's just add in all the expansions that we got. So
I mean,
yeah.
he'll add in expansions from other games that don't even
Oh, yeah,
belong
exactly.
in it. Yeah.
He just puts it all in there. And I know they just played an epic game of what was it that y'all just played? Jim, put it in the chat. You just played something that that you played at TGG that you said you brought all the expansions and you played 5-6 hours, if I remember.
And then was thrown out of the convention.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
Yeah, it'll come up in a minute here. Even Jim said that was a bit much. I forget what it was.
What?
Yeah,
he said
did.
something was a bit much?
Yeah, it might have been Merlin, if I am remembering. Might be Merlin with all the expansions. There was like 10 expansions they put in.
Was he drunk when you said that?
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
I can't imagine him not wanting everything ever made in the game.
But anyway, no, I'm definitely the opposite. If I'm playing a game for the first time, let me just learn the base game.
Yeah.
Let's just play.
I feel the same way, unless it's just like an expansion that's just more of the same.
Yeah. All right.
I like expansions that are more of what's good.
Yeah, more cards.
Yeah, like you're not learning new mechanics. You're just adding more variety to what's already there.
And that's because a lot of the times we as the game zealots, the game evangelists, we're teaching new people. So having to take out the expansions of things that are extra mechanisms is harder.
True.
It's easier to leave that stuff in if it's just more of the same.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Let's go through the comments in the chat. We'll see who was in here commenting. First comment tonight was James Odak.
Oh.
Wow, full house.
Oh, yeah.
We are. Everyone's there. Kyle Jeeves was in there with the It's Crowded. We got Chris out of Texas. I believe Austin, Texas. Remind me.
Yeah, I believe it's Austin. Yep.
Saying howdy, guys. Chester, I believe North Carolina, if I'm crazy.
Doppelbeard.
Doppelbeard. That was a comment on Rob's beard.
Trying.
Yeah, and Kyle was in there with the Rob, you're a man now. We got Odak in the chat. Underwater Cities is good too. This was during Rob's update of the board.
He says it's too good.
Too good.
Yeah. Too good
Too
for me.
good.
Too good for what? Too good for who?
Not enough expansion.
Funny like a clown.
Yeah, needs more expansions. Yep.
And then this was a comment I liked. I wanted to get more into this one. Scout versus Scythe does not seem fair. This was that
seem fair.
It does.
I know
does.
English is not your first.
It is not, and neither is reading from this distance.
Yeah,
I'm so far from the screen today.
Blow it up.
My old man, 44-year-old eye is here. Scout versus Scythe does seem fair, and
Leave this guy over here, old
Yeah.
man.
44.
All of you are wearing
44. Just because he has a birthday, he's gonna be old man now.
Chester's in here with if it's good, it's good.
True.
Yeah.
So that's
Agreed.
his I guess his theory on the top
Small
20
game,
board.
Chester.
Yeah, if you like it, you like it. That's
I
it.
100% agree with
Yep.
you. That's why all these smaller games make it on my list easily.
Yep.
James Odak in the chat played Raccoon Tycoon a month or so ago. Didn't hate it, but wasn't blown away by it either. Was 2-player though, and no expansions.
2-player? I don't know.
And no, yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, and
Playing-
no
playing a-
expansions.
but really, playing any kind of bidding game, 2-player,
Yeah.
Why?
that's got to be tough.
Why?
Like, I can't
Furnace.
imagine.
Yeah.
Furnace with its bot works really well.
Okay, but you have a bot for a
With a
third
bot.
player. That's
not
not
a
really
2-player.
2-player. That's not a 2-player game. That's a 3-player game pretending to be a 2-player game.
Valid.
Calm
And a
down.
good valid. That's why it's so high on my board. Where's it at? Number 11.
Yep.
We got Raccoon Tycoon, says Chester Wilson. Lizard Wizard, Tossum Possum. What's going on up in North Carolina?
A new third one, triumvirate.
I like that. That sounds like a party. up there.
Tossing possums.
Wayne. Oh, Wayne. We know Wayne in the chat. Odak is in here. We'll have to give it another try someday. Chester, land drafting. So I think we're talking about Rise and Fall here.
Rise-
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's when that popped up. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
So the components look real nice. And then Odak responding to Dan.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Keep going. There's more below that.
What's up, James?
Teotihuacan.
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 Yes.
Teotihuacan.
Say it again, Rob.
Teotihuacan.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, that was the game he played with all the expansions?
Oh, was it? Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
Is that
That's
his
what it
answer
was.
to that?
Teotihuacan. And if anybody who's played, that's one of the T games. So that is already
That adds, the expansions add like 4 more gears or
right.
something like that.
It's already mid to heavy, and you're adding on. I forget how many. I thought they said like 10 expansions or something crazy. What? Yeah, it's nuts. So yeah,
This is why Chester calls him Crazy Jimmy O.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wrong. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Chester.
James Odak in the chat played Merlin with just 2 expansions
just
at
2.
SpielCon.
No, you didn't. You didn't just put 2 in. Get out of here.
He's lying.
He says sarcasm.
trying to save his face and how sarcasm.
All right, the chat is caught up. The phone line is open. We are right now in this segment talking about games that we've played recently that you may or may not see on the board next month.
All right, who's got a game? Who's played something?
Oh man, I played a ton of games.
right.
Before I deployed, we had like a gaming weekend. So it was me and my friend Scott out in Seattle, and then 2 other guys. One guy flew in from, I want to say Michigan, for this 4-day weekend, and another guy that was out of Portland, I believe. He was from Washington area. But anyway, we played in 4 days. Well, really 3.5. We got 24 plays in.
Ooh.
And it was just like, it's so good when you already, like, you just got your 4 people that you're playing with. Everybody knows what they're going to be playing. And it was like, boom, next game. Okay, put the pizza in the oven. We'll play a game while we're waiting for the pizza to cook, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all the games. I'm just kind of...
Pick one you want to highlight. And then I'll pick one I want to highlight. And we'll go round robin until we all run out.
So I guess a good one to start with, because you guys are familiar with it, is I played Manhattan Project Energy Empire for the first time.
For the first time.
It was, except for one of the guys there was 3 of us was our first time playing.
Okay.
The guy that had played it before has played it a lot, so he really knew the rules very well.
Oh, good.
And kind of like him and I kind of like tag team the teach of it, and I really liked it. I mean, I definitely need to play it again. There's definitely some planning that you need to do in the game.
What are we doing in Energy Empire?
What are we doing in Energy Empire? Well, you're using it's a worker placement game, and I guess the unique mechanic about placing the worker is the spots aren't you can occupy space, but there are little power tokens as well that you can put your workers on top of, and they're like really thick pieces of cardboard that these chits are made out of. If your player or if your worker that you're placing down is taller than the previous worker that is there, you are allowed to go there. So if you really want a space, you can spend more power to put your worker there. To me, that's like the cool, unique kind of twist on this. And then and you'll have to excuse my explanation because I only played it once, but there's like 3 types of areas that you can place your workers in, where you're purchasing cards or you're gathering resources. And the other kind of unique thing is once you are buying cards, I forget what the colors are, green, yellow, and brown, and they all represent like some kind of industry. When you put your worker there, if you still have the power to do it, you can activate your cards that are in your tableau as well.
All the ones of that same color, right?
Right, of that color. And, I don't know if it's every action, but every time you're doing something, the pollution is kind of like you have a clock, so to speak, where like it's ticking down, which dictates the end of the game. But every pile of these chits that you go through, a new event will occur. And like the first 3 are kind of, forgiving or maybe even positive, and then the last 3 is when it like starts getting really serious and the poop starts hitting the fan, I guess you could say, because you're adding pollution to your board and taking it off. But it was...
there's cleanup actions.
There's cleanup actions. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of actions.
A lot of balancing in there. I had a great time playing it.
Carlos likes the dice. There's dice rolling in it, which I think is a pretty unique thing for kind of a worker placement.
Custom dice.
Yep, how you gain your energy at the time that you're ending your round.
Do a reset.
Or the reset.
After all your workers are out or whatever, you can do the reset where you collect everything back off the board, but then you're rolling these energy dice that you've collected. There's 4 or 5 different types of energy.
Yep.
I know there's wind, there's coal, there's nuclear,
hydro,
and so each one of them does. Like the nuclear does a lot of pollution, but it gives you a lot of energy.
Right.
So then you're having to put a bunch of pollution on your board. At the end of the game, every pollution spot you have gets you negative points, and so.
But I like the because you're only going off of the highest number on the die face for what kind of pollution you're getting if you get any pollution.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. I like that because it adds a little bit of excitement to the actual dice roll, and you can burn your oil to pick up more brown dice if you want to for that chuck, and
and roll some more dirty energy.
Dirty energy.
Yeah, dirty energy.
but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good game. I mean, again, I want to play it more, and I definitely think it'll hit the table because now that I played it once, it's like, okay, this isn't really a hard game to teach. Once you understand the iconography and the mechanics of it, it flows pretty quick, and it was a quick game too. That was another thing that we were like, whoa, the game's almost over already.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
so do you own a copy, or does somebody you game with own a copy?
Oh no, this was my copy. This
your
was
copy.
that
Okay,
one.
nice.
I bought it used. The guy didn't even play it, and it was like $20, something like that.
Oh, wow.
So
Good.
I thought it
That's
was
a
money
deal.
well
Good
spent.
deal.
Yeah,
That's a good deal. I
yeah.
think it's a better deal than Wayne got. I thought Wayne got a great deal.
I think I paid 40 or 45 for it, new in shrink from a game store in like New York. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is that game that like it's new in shrink. Like there's somebody in our, I think maybe Ashley in our Discord server. She has a copy of it new in shrink for sale. She's like, I never played it. And it's a game that like it was on my Amazon wish list for years and never bought it. Then it went out of print.
Right.
And then
Then you
everyone I
played
know
it
that
with Rob.
right. Then I know everyone that owns a copy of it. Either it's new in shrink or they bought it used for someone who never played it. And it's like, but once you play it, you're like, this is actually a really good game.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
good.
it kind of like got lost in the shuffle of all the games over the years, where it's like that's a really good game that really is in limbo right now of ever being reprinted because the company's defunct. You know,
Right. And it's like the second version.
I was going to say
of-
that.
Yeah.
There's
Manhattan
energy in the
Project, and then
Because the
Energy
first
Empire.
one was kind of like poop, wasn't it? It was.
No,
It
the
wasn't.
first-
It was
first one's
good,
pretty
but
good.
yeah. So it did pretty well, but this one definitely streamlined some things, from what I understand. I haven't ever played the first
Okay.
one, but it streamlined some things. It cleaned up some rules, and so. But I think enough people were turned off by the original that they didn't
Right.
give this one a chance.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
And then there was a third one in the series, and I understand the third one really was not good. And so,
Yeah.
again, that further kind of tarnished the whole trilogy, the whole series, and people kind of stepped away from it. So,
Chester says, I've only played the 2016 Minion Games release of Manhattan Project Chain Reaction.
that's the third one, I
The
think.
third one. That might
He
be
says,
the third
mine the yellow cake.
Don't drop that.
Yeah, that third one supposedly was not real good. So,
Manhattan
that-
Project is actually a pretty good game. It's a solid game, but it's not as good as Energy Empire. And
Then they just
so
came out with a new one that they kickstarted last year that I think recently delivered, and
it's even worse, I think.
that's what I'm hearing. I was upset. It's supposed to be the war one.
Yeah.
It's like a war game, Manhattan Project, and
Oh.
it just didn't. It flopped,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Definitely looking forward to playing it again.
All right, don't forget, phone lines are open. 813-618-7099 is the number. I'm going to keep going with games that I've played too. We'll go round robin until we all run out. Worker placement. We'll keep that theme going.
it.
Wayne talked about and placed Lost Ruins of Arnak on his board last week. Am I right? If I'm remembering that right? Because
I moved it up. It was on my board already.
Moved
I
it
moved it up even higher.
yeah, it really got me thinking, man, I got to get that game to the table. I've had in shrink until just this week the Lost Ruins of Arnak Missing Expedition.
Oh,
So after the show,
Yeah.
first thing, I took it to bed with me, Wayne, after the show. I grabbed my copy of Missing Expedition.
TMI.
on it.
yeah,
TMI.
yeah.
I took it to the bed.
Enough said.
I took it out of shrink and set it up, started like reading the rules, kind of. I've been nervous in tackling that one. And for the reason of it is a, it adds
campaign,
a lot more mechanisms to a nice game. Back to we talked about expansions. I like expansions that add more of the same. This one really adds more complexity. So that's
and
why I haven't
especially-
touched it.
Especially since the last time you had an expansion to the Lost Ruins of Arnak, you and Rob played it completely wrong. So
Oh yeah, yeah. So he got to learn it this time, right?
The leaders expansion.
Yes.
So we had the leaders expansion last time. It kind of flopped a little bit. But you know what? I say, I'm going to get through it. We're going to get one game of this. And over the weekend, I made sure to get it punched, get it put together, get it set up on the table, all that ready to go. So all wifey had to do was just show up to the table, quick rules explanation, and we're going.
And does she like the base game?
Yes, she does enjoy the base game. Solid. We only played chapter 1 of 6 chapters. It's that feeling, Robert. You know what I'm talking about, where you feel like you're going to lose. Nervous in.
No, James Odak. He won Federations on Ding and Dent on the.
Oh, did he on the thing and dent tonight?
Oh,
yes,
nice.
dude.
Ah,
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Good pull, Jim.
nice.
Good game.
That's a good one. Mike likes that one. Those co-op games where you feel like you're losing the whole time. There's no point in continuing. I don't know how we're going to eke this out. This is so stupid, right? But then, like, you come together and figure it out, and it you see the path, and that excitement, that 20 minutes of last few rounds of the game of excitement overcomes that last half hour that you spent poo-pooing the game because there's no way you're going to beat this, and then you eke it out by 1 point. That was what ended up happening. So the feelings I got out of that were just superb.
Cool.
And then you add the story elements. It takes the the sites, right? The dig sites. There's the campsites, then there's level 1 and there's level 2, right? Of different campsites. It takes the majority of those sites and replaces them with encounter cards. So instead of just digging a new site, when you go and explore a new location, you first reveal the encounter card. You might meet some mischievous monkeys, and then you have a decision to make. Do you want to take the immediate benefit with the monkeys, or do you want it to be a long-term, something you set aside for later that requires more actions? So there's these decision points that it adds in, and then you get your site, and then you get your guardian on top of that. So it's just adding to the story element, and all those cards are based on each chapter. The whole deck that you get is separated in chapters. So every chapter, you're going to get a whole new set of encounter cards that promotes or pushes the story forward. Because you're trying to find Dr. Kutil. Dr. Kutil went to go explore the island, went missing. You've now been funded to go to the island to go find him. So it's slowly revealing that story. You're kind of behind him a few steps. So you're seeing where he's been. He's leaving you some notes. You're encountering new guardians. So it adds that story element on top of that fun cooperative game that's hard to play.
Cool.
Like, right off the bat, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Missing Expedition is going to shoot this game up this top 20 board. We'll see how far it goes. Looking forward to playing Chapter 2.
All right, I got to ask, what is the immediate benefit of finding a pack of monkeys?
Hey,
They're mischievous. Thank you very
mischievous
much.
monkeys. I'm sorry. Yes, okay.
not quite 10 o'clock yet. You got to wait 12 minutes.
All right.
So that's a game that I played this past week, Lost Ruins of Arnak, with the Missing Expeditions.
Sweet.
I think Dan's up. Dan, you got a game you played?
Yeah, I've got several games I've played lately, especially when I didn't have power.
Oh, yeah.
So I was doing a lot of solo stuff, and ever since we closed the cafe, I've been selling off almost all the collection.
Okay.
And I've haven't bought a single game since we closed.
Because you own them all. That's why.
I did at one time. But also I'm just got to a mental place where I don't need anything new. I'm just working my way through the library I already own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think is a problem that a lot of us have.
I don't understand this concept. What do you speak? I don't even get it. What are you talking about?
You were talking about shopping your collection. What are you talking about? Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, it's just I just can no longer justify having hundreds and hundreds of games. It just doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know if it ever made sense, since you can only play one game at a time, and so many in a day and so many in a year. Having hundreds or thousands is just ridiculous.
Carlos still disagrees, but go ahead.
That's okay.
I feel like Mike came over for an intervention.
Oh, yeah.
I'm worried.
We're teaming up
we
here.
need you to sit down.
I need an adult
Need an adult in the room?
all the way from Seattle.
So with the power out recently, and you said we're just going to go back and forth till we run out of stuff. Okay, well, the first one I've finally taken Zombicide, the second edition, off my shelf and cracked it open and started playing it.
Oh.
I enjoyed the first one, but then didn't do much with it. But this one, I really like the second edition a lot. It adds a couple more mechanics.
Streamlines it a little bit.
That's the
Streamlines
key.
it a little more. Has anyone else here played the second edition?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I like. Have you played the campaigns?
No, I haven't gotten into the campaign.
That's what I started doing.
Oh, cool.
The campaigns, because in the campaigns, the characters, of course, carry over.
Mm-hmm.
If you get them into, I think it's the orange level on their board, they get like experience points, and they can get more abilities as you go through the campaign. Also, on the cards, you'll notice there's like these special little numbers on them that you can roll in between chapters to see if they are able to keep their equipment,
Oh,
or if it breaks and then they can't have it and stuff like
Very
that.
cool.
So it makes it a lot more interesting in that aspect. Much more than the what's that?
Making them want
That's
to
in
play.
my sell pile, and now you're
Now you
talking
make
it
them
up.
want to keep it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
definitely-
find mine because I think I bought the Washington ZD DC ZC.
Easy, yeah.
Over there.
Right now,
Robert found it. Where are they at?
It's over there above Song of Ice and Fire Inside.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay, yes. I bought, and then the Fort Hendricks.
That's the
so
one
those
I-
are two campaigns.
That's the one I'm playing through right now. is
Which
the
one, Fort
the
Hendricks?
Hendricks, yeah.
Yeah.
And that adds zombies that are have weapons attached to
I bought a
them.
pack of minis for that, of zombies with guns.
Yeah,
cool.
and they don't know how to shoot, but they'll just randomly shoot. And if you happen to be where they're shooting,
That's amazing.
you're going to get hit.
That's
Toasted.
amazing.
Just randomly firing. Yeah.
So how many rounds have you gone into it now?
I've gone through the first 3 missions in it.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely something that I wanted to play all these games to see, am I going to keep them or not? Because like I said, when we had the store, I had 2,500 and some games. And then, is there a problem?
Oh, he
I was
was asking
just
if anybody wanted to drink while you were talking, but go ahead, keep talking.
All right.
Shout it out if you want to drink. I'm going to go grab some.
All right, Carlos is getting drinks. And then I completely lost my train of thought there.
Shooting
I'll have
guns,
a White Russian. Go ahead.
What was I talking about?
Zombies shooting guns, and then
Zombie shooting guns?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was saying I wanted to play all these games that I've had for a long time, start off with the collection since the store closed of like 2,500 games. And I'm paring the collection down. I'm down to about 150 now.
Nice.
Whoa. Really?
I'm
You've
tr-
gotten rid of that many
That's a
games?
purge. That's
Yeah,
a purge.
yeah, definitely.
Holy
I
crap,
want to get
man.
down to 100 and just cap it at that.
Yeah.
Okay,
but,
that was my
uh,
next question. Is like, what do you want to get down to?
Right around 100. And I decided, since I'm not buying anything new, I'm going to play through all the games that I own, give each of them a fair shot, and if I don't like it, immediately goes to the sale pile. I'm not going to
Perfect.
waver back and forth anymore, worry about someday maybe I want to play it. Well, someday, 5 years from now, if I want to play it, I'll just buy it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of just having all that money sitting on my shelf doing nothing.
Sure. Why not, man?
Yeah, they're
But
out
yeah,
there.
I've been really enjoying the Zombicide 2nd edition, so
So it gets a thumbs up from Dan.
it's a thumbs up from Dan.
Thumbs up from Dan. All right.
All right, Rob, you're up.
All right, I'm going to hit another game that Dan and I both got the chance to play at his place again not so long ago, Windmill Valley. This is a game that I had heard about. Actually, I forget who brought it. I want to say maybe Daryl. I believe it was Daryl's copy, yeah. Daryl had posted up before a short list of games that he was interested in bringing and possibly teaching. And as soon as I saw Windmill Valley on the list, I said, that's the one. That's the one I want to play. Daryl, make sure you bring that one. So he brought it. We were going to get into another game. I forget what it was. He had another game. He was like, well, let's just play, as a ramp-up game. And then I was like, no. I want to make sure I get Windmill Valley played. So let's go ahead and do that one first. And so it was Dan and I and Daryl, and then we waited for... I forget his name. The other bearded guy who was hanging out.
Oh, that was Knox.
Knox. Knox came over, and so the four of us sat down and played Windmill Valley. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I don't know, Wayne, if you have a chance to bring that one up for us. Another game with just some pretty cool little meeples, little wooden windmills and such.
It's that Danish looking one, right?
It is.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
know
all
what
about the
game you're
tulips
talking
and planting
about
tulips.
now.
Right, Holland,
Yeah,
yeah.
it gave me some feelings of the what's the one where you're growing the peppers?
Chili. William
Scoville.
has it. Scoville.
Scoville, yeah.
Yeah, it gave me some Scoville fills because you have a little grid that you're having. You've got these four, I think there's 5 or 6 different colored of tulips in the game, but you have four rows that you're trying to place these tulips in. And there's this grid, and you get points depending on trying to make consistent lines of the same types of tulips horizontally, but then vertically you want to have different types of them. So you're trying to build out this little grid. So the part of the puzzle is putting that together. You're also putting, as you see here in some of these pictures, these little windmills out on the main board. And it's almost kind of like a worker placement. It's one of the actions you can do. And when you place that out there, you are doing all of the actions that touch the area. So you're kind of placing them on these paths. And when you place down, it'll be touching 2 or 3 or 4 different actions that are shown on the board. And depending on it, it's more expensive to go to some of the places. But when you place, you can pay some gold coins, and then you get to do these actions. And so as Wayne's just scrolling through here, it's jogging my memory for you that you can't see at home. One of the cool things about it is you have these 2 gears, these 2 cog wheels that dictate what you're doing. And so it's almost like a rondel game. There's floodwaters, there's floodgates, and at the beginning of your turn, you have to make a choice you can either open the floodgates 1 level, or you can go a 2nd level by paying, I can't remember, was it money, Dan, or something to go 2 steps?
I believe you did have to pay, but you could lower it for free.
Right, you can lower it down for free and make no water go through, but when you do that, it allows you, or that's how many clicks you're going to click the wheels on your board, and then depending on where you stop, there's two arrows at the top that point to the left wheel and the right wheel, and whatever action they're pointing at, you choose one of those two actions. They're also on these wheels, you can kind of see here, for those that are able to see at home, all of those spots on the wheels, they start out bare with just real basic actions, but one of the actions you can do in the game is there's a market, and when you do the market action, you can go and take or pay for even better ones, upgraded little pieces that you put into the wheel.
In between the spokes?
Oh, that's cool.
Right. So
That's cool.
So that you make each action better, or you can do different actions that break some of the rules in the game, and some of them allow you to do both the right arrow and the left arrow. They have a little plus on them. So if I put this over here and then I turn it and I time it up, then I can do both the left action and the right action. And so you can kind of start building these combos. And we were all blown away by it. We were like, this is really cool. You're building your own engine. You're turning these wheels, which just feels cool to turn the wheels and to kind of plan out your turns. Hey, I need 3 clicks this turn. So I'm hoping somebody before me raises the water level once so that I can raise it again, so that I can click it 3 times. And then that allows me to trigger both of these actions. And then I can buy the tulips. There's actions to buy tulips. You can then there's actions to plant the tulips. There's actions to go to the market to do different kinds of things. There's all, as you can imagine, there's all kinds of actions. You can buy assistants that allow you to do things that break the game. You set your in-game scoring points. A big chunk of your in-game scoring is these assistant cards. When you buy them out of the market or when you acquire them from the market, you can either put them at the top of your board, which gives you a ability for the whole rest of the game, or you slot them in at the bottom of your board, and that sets a condition for victory points at the end of the game. And so as you're acquiring these, you're having to make tough decisions of, do I want to be able to take 3 tulips instead of 1 every time I do it? Or do I want to slot it in at the bottom that if I fill out all my black tulips by the end of the game, that it gives me an additional 20 victory points or something? So lots of cool little decision points in this one. Just the whole, again, turning these little things. Again, as Wayne's scrolling through pictures here, it was pretty decent quality, thick cardboard pieces for most of it. There were nice little wooden pieces.
Screen printed wooden windmill meeples?
Yep, exactly. And then your player board is a dual layer, pretty nice, thick cardboard board. So all these little tulips you're kind of putting in, sliding in on your board. Just tactilely, a very pleasing game. There's lots of touching cool stuff, moving stuff around. What am I forgetting, Dan? I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff.
Another thing that I liked about it is the iconography on the board and the pieces is so easy to follow.
Yep.
We went through it one time and almost never had to look at the rule book again.
Yeah. There's once you learn
it made the play go so much faster, because when it's not your turn, you're wondering what you can do. You don't have to keep grabbing a chart to figure out what do these actions do. Once you hear it, the pictures all make sense.
Yeah, there was just a handful of things really that you were doing, and it's just combining those things, trying to outthink the other people, do them in the right order. Oh, so what is it? Predicting a 2 out? Yes.
Rob
yes,
is talking so highly.
No.
Rob is talking so highly of this game.
Loved it.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo.
Great game, 2 out of 10. No, this one's going to do better than 2 out of 10. I think I'm leaning towards a 3 on this one out of 10.
Nice.
But no.
Another thing I liked is if you can see the wheels again, if you can bring a picture up of the gears, the one gear has 6 spaces, the one has 5. So as they're rotating, you're not going to
going faster.
You're not going to have the same 2 conditions that you put in there line up every time they come around. So you got to kind of compensate for that too.
But how do you plan ahead for the combo of the actions if they're kind of at a different pace? Can you?
You can, yeah.
Yeah, you're really planning for it for that round, for that perfect combination of the actions. It'll come around and it'll, be advantageous to you, especially the ones with a little plus in the corner. I would say about a third of the tiles had a little plus that allowed you to do both sides.
Yeah, because if you look at that picture right now, you see the 2 arrows.
Yeah.
Normally, like Rob just said, you have to pick either the left or the right, but if it has the plus sign,
you're doing both.
You get to do both actions.
And so by getting those on the smaller wheel, if you can fill in a lot of the pluses, which I did, all 5 of mine on my smaller wheel were pluses, so that smaller wheel turns faster. I mean, it doesn't...
Is there an action in the wheel itself, like a base action that you're upgrading to something else?
Yes. Yeah, they all have just a plain base action on them, so right.
This game had, like... Looking at it,
there's a lot more to this game than we thought.
Yeah.
Not only that, if you look at the picture, you got the base actions on there. You can upgrade it to a better action of the same, or you can just cover those up and just put multiple different actions on top of it
you
too.
can duplicate it. If I just want to get into just get all my points from buying and planting tulips and not worry about some of the other ways you can get points, getting assistance or whatever, I can just put a bunch of those on my wheels and just constantly just buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and
like
sell.
Dice Throne, but with cogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like right here, this like 2x thing, that's not upgraded, but then right next to this little
Dice
3X,
Forge.
that's
Dice Forge?
upgraded.
Yeah.
And
Was
then
it
this
Dice Forge
different
that had the
color one
dice
is
that you can
upgraded
change?
further.
Yeah, Dice
Yeah,
Forge.
sorry, Wayne. They're having another conversation over there, but yes.
So no, it looks like you can upgrade 3 times because you have the base thing where there's like the well, and then you can put a brown one in there to upgrade it, and then you can flip it to gray to upgrade it further.
It's either gray or brown. The gray ones, when you go to acquire those upgrades, are free. And then if you want to acquire one of the gray ones, you pay, I think it was either 1 or 2 coins, depending on how they come out. So, yep.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I didn't have a whole lot of expectations because I didn't know a lot about it, other than that it had just come out. It's only been out for maybe 4 or 5 months. I think it wasn't an Essen release, but it was a Gen Con release this year. So it's pretty new, and I just knew that there was a lot of buzz. I'd heard a lot of people saying that they really liked it. They really liked it, but I didn't know much about the mechanics. I knew it was tulips and in Holland and all that, but I didn't really know how the game worked at all. I'm really happy we played it, and I'm really looking forward to playing it again. Yeah, so it's got a big recommendation for me. So
Very
BJ, no, not a 2 out of 10. I would say if I had to give it a ranking right now after one play, I'm thinking 7 or 8. It was pretty high. So
nice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
there you go.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
the 2 of us really liked it, but that's the one I really wanted to hit. So back to the top of the list, another game.
And what's up to BJ from Board Game Gumbo, coming all the way out of Louisiana.
Hey, BJ.
Wayne, any plays, any recent plays you want to highlight?
So, I mean, I could go back to Necronomicon, which is the last time I played games, and one that I'll highlight real quick because it was kind of a cool social deduction type game. Was Hollywood 1947.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I got
this was I got it. Yep, I got it. This was it's like the series of games. There's like
The ones that look like
Salem's.
books.
Yeah, the ones that look at books.
Yeah.
And this one was interesting because you're dealt out cards, and either you're a communist or an American or whatever, and it's Hollywood 1947, and you're trying to make movies, and so each round you're trying to make a different kind of movie, and you're trying to cast the movie or film the production of like all the people in the movie. You want to either be communist or not. And if you're a communist player, you want the film to be a communist film, right? So you're basically trying to the whole McCarthy era like type thing in Hollywood. So it's very much like any of the other werewolfy type games, or Avalon, and what's the other one with like the futuristic version of it? Coup, yeah, like things like that,
Yeah.
where like you don't know who's who, and you're trying to guess it, and they're like different roles. So you can be the director or the actor or the production assistant or the special effects person, and they all have different special abilities that kind of manipulate what cards go in. What I liked about this is like in the voting, when you vote, you're rolling dice, and you can roll dice, and that either adds star value or communist value, and then the rolls add more. So it's somewhat easier for the communists to hide. It's not at a lower player count. So at a lower player count, it still plays well at 3-player or 6 or 7-player. So the game scales well to the player value because it adds in the dice, or you add in a couple of blind cards, which could be anything. So it makes it harder for the good guys to win. You can kind of see, and then in the cards, you've got different like sort of values that make you re-roll things and so like that. So it was a fun kind of social deduction type game. So it definitely took that same, like it's Avalon and Coup and all those other werewolf or Blood on the Clock Tower, and kind of gave it a historical perspective, setting in the 1940s and 50s, the McCarthy era. And it came with these, like, as you choose the movies, you're making a horror movie, you're making a science fiction movie, and when it's finally done, you put like an overlay on top of it for either communism, neutral, or America. And so it was fun. It was a good game. It was fun. It was one that I might not go out to buy, but if you have a chance to play it, especially at a con or with a group of people, it's certainly a good way to have a little fun social deduction type of game. So Hollywood 1947 is a hit, but not a buy. So that's my
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to play? With how many players?
I think we played with 4, and it took like maybe 40 minutes.
all right, that's not bad.
it's not it's a very quick game. That's another thing too. Is like some of the. Thank you for pointing that out because I think it's a lot of these social deduction games, Werewolf, whatever, they can drag on, which is like
Blood on the Clock Tower.
Yeah, they can just. This game is a quick hitting game. You can play it really quickly, which is fun because then you can play it, move on. It could even almost be a filler if you have 3 or 4 players. You can play that real quick and then move on to another game. So yeah, it was fun.
Sweet.
All right.
All right, I've got a play during the storm as well, without power, kind of like Dan, except for I kept it light. With my play, the play that I have is Mountain Goats. It's an all play. Is that the company?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All Play is the company. All Play, what they do is they have this great series of small box games. I know Mike's a fan of these small box games. Bacon, I think, is one of them.
Yep.
Rob, you mentioned Sail.
Sail.
That's another one of those small box games that they have.
Like when I
Big
played
Top.
that. Yep. Big Top. Yeah.
Got introduced to Mountain Goats a couple of years ago, I think, at the Dice Tower East, where I bought it, right there at their All Play shop. Really liked it because of the similarities to Can't Stop. So this is Can't Stop with a few extra rules. So this is something I've talked about before with this game. You get 4 dice, you chuck all 4 dice, and then you get to make sets of dice. Unlike Can't Stop, where Can't Stop says you have to make 2 sets, you're making 2 pairs of dice in order to move pips on the board. Here you can make any number of sets. You can make 4 sets. You can make 1 set of 2 dice and 2 individual sets. And what's nice, it also has a luck mitigation factor where if you roll more than 1, right, so more than a single 1 die, all the extra 1s that you roll, you can change to any face of the dice. So it allows you to manipulate dice, make more decisions with the set combination. And the moving up the mountain is a lot smaller. The mountain is a lot shorter than what it was. It gets a little more complicated because you add these point tokens at the top. If let's say Dan makes it to the top of the 7 mountain, Rob can go and move his goat to the top of the 7 mountain, knock Dan all the way off the mountain, where Dan has to work his way back up to the top.
Yeah, he does.
Whenever you reach the top, you get to grab another token. So it's a lot of fun there, and really enjoyed it. It's something special. I like it. What I bought in this last Dice Tower at the booth was the expansion. They have an expansion for the game. Now, they have these little tokens at the top that indicate points. Eventually, those point tokens run out. When 3 mountains, 3 of the numbers, 5 through 9, I think it is, of those mountains run out, and I think 10's one of them, run out of tokens, when 3 stacks of those tokens are gone, the game ends. Well, meanwhile, while you're waiting for those stacks to end, you got 2 mountains that are useless. You can't score points there anymore, because they're 2 empty mountains. So what they added is this sideboard where it runs from, I think, like 13 to 24. And if at any moment you can chuck your dice and make a set of numbers, pips, that add up to a number between like 13 and 24, and you can move one of those goats that's stuck on that lonely mountain to that sideboard. They can't get kicked off. They take that place. And then later at the end of the game, they're going to score that sideboard based on position on that board. There's a bunch of spots over there. Whoever's the highest is going to earn 15 points. Second place will get like 12. Third place will get like 6, right? So it's going to give out points based on where you end up. So it gives you a place to use these other goats. I'll tell you, using this expansion, I found ended up being the difference in the Victory Maker. The Victory Maker tended to win using the points gained on that side mountain. So it also gave you a place to use those goats you wouldn't normally use, and it adds more points to the game. All in all, it's a recommend from me for their expansion, and it adds 5 players. That's the other cool part. It adds a 5th player to the Mountain Goats game.
That's different than adding 5 players.
Yeah, that's
Definitely. So now it goes to 9. No, it doesn't.
This goes to 9.
What was that expansion again, Carlos? What was that expansion again?
Ay, Dios mío. Let me see if I can read this tiny font. Go Gadget Eyes.
And does it fit in the box?
If it's in the box.
Oh, perfect.
If it's in the box. Mountain Goats expansion. No, not that one.
Level 6? Oh, no, that's a different game.
It might be Green Valley.
It might be.
Yeah, click on it. It is not. Go back.
No, don't go there.
That's the expansion that they made, but didn't make a lot of them. It was only allowed at a certain con. That's the one with the green goats. Yep.
Green goats?
Green goats.
Not green goats.
Green goats?
Something like that. The green ghosts. That's a different expansion.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a
Rob
name.
expansion.
All I know is it was a small pack. It was at the All Play booth. The other expansion is not available. The Green Valley. That's the board right there. You see it? Yeah, Wayne will scroll
No,
us
I
into
see,
it.
I see a wall. Oh,
There's it. So it goes from 11 to 24, and those are the points. Whoever is the highest gets 16 points, 12 points, 8 points, 4 points respectively, and you can win multiples of them. So if you move 3 goats into the top 3 spots, you're going to win all 3 of those bonus points at the end of the game. So it just adds another area control, another place to put your goats, when normally if that mountain ran out of points, you'd say that goat is useless.
I'm always looking for a place to put my goats.
Yeah, I like being able to use my spare goats too. Yeah,
Sure.
Gotta park them over here, park them over there.
Sprinkle them everywhere in Salt Bay.
Yeah, something like that. Somebody save us.
813-618-7099 is the number. Call on in. Talk to us about what games you've been playing. Otherwise, we're just going to keep doing this.
It's a call-in show, people.
Yep. I think who's up next?
It don't matter. Who's got one
Mike's up.
So another game
that you want to highlight?
Let me see. What do I want to highlight? Because we played Shogun, which was
that's good
that's
stuff.
a good one. Yeah.
We played Smartphone Inc., which we haven't gotten out in a long time. That was great. And we played Federation, another good one. I'm trying to find. Oh, okay. So, and we played Tyrants also. Oh, Burning Banners. This is a new one that people have been kind of going gaga over.
Never heard of that one.
Yes, I have.
Lady Gaga?
If you can pull it up, Wayne, Burning Banners.
Yeah, come on, Wayne.
Oh,
Now,
Wayne.
this was the first time, my friend Scott was the one that brought this, and I love maps that are, or player boards that are like busy as all get out. And this has it in spades pretty much. This was his first time playing as a 4-player game in this. He normally plays it at 2 players, and he says it plays very well at 2 players.
So, Rob, this is like a war game. This is a war game company, Compass. I got a ton of their games. That's why I know about it, and you may not.
No.
It's not a Euro.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you're playing with 4 players, the map is actually created in quarters. So, if you're normally playing 1v1, you're only taking a quarter of the map. And then there's different factions that you're playing with, and you're playing a scenario. Like you just pick a scenario, and then you have objectives that you have to do for that particular scenario. So you have these units that you're purchasing.
Fantasy setting, right?
It's a fantasy setting, 100% fantasy setting. So there's like orcs and witches are in it. I played the witches. I forget what they were called. Or maybe vampires. I can't remember. I really want to highlight this game because I would like to play it again, but I want to play it at 2 players because I think all of us came to the conclusion that so this map is put together with 4 boards that are just in a 2x2 pattern. And it seemed like, and you're playing teams at this point, so 2v2, and it seemed like your section of the board where most of your units was like your section, and then somebody else had their own little section. It wasn't this complete mix of everybody in one large area, and it seemed like I was always dealing with one other person, and my teammate was always dealing with the other person. There really wasn't any other kind of interaction, so it was almost like we were playing 2 separate games at the same time. And I can't describe the game well enough because most of the game I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. And there were multiple times throughout the game where the person I was like kind of going against, neither one of us knew what we were doing. And we would look over and like, I guess we go here. And he was like, I guess you go there. And I guess I'll go here. And it was just kind of like letting the game play out on its own. If you can go to a photo where there's like a close-up shot of it, Wayne, I see that you might have stepped away. But the artwork in this, even though it looks it's line drawn, kind of comic bookish, but not like semi-realistic comic bookish.
I would call it like old school fantasy, like an old D&D book.
I would agree with you on that one. Yes, the artwork is great, or I really like the artwork, and just the fact that this map looks so busy. I just love that. We just could not. I think we got about halfway through it, and we are kind of losing interest already. And but again, I would love to go back to this game and play it again to get a better feel for it. There you go. There's a big cat on the board. But anyway, it's kind of a downer bringing it to light here. But again, it's my friend showed it to me. He's like, "Oh, I just got Burning Banners in." I was like, "Okay, great." And he showed me a picture of it. I was like, "Oh crap! Well, we're definitely playing that this weekend." And then we were kind of like 3 hours of,
Rise and Fall.
yeah.
It's a hex encounter chit game, and Dan is very familiar with these styles of war games set in a fantasy world. So you got this war game designer who decided to create a game in a fantasy setting, and for that reason, it's tickled all the boards where a war gamer would follow.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of like Kingmaker, with all the chits on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, the map, and it looks kind of like the map of England type thing.
And it looks like the old D&D maps that we would have.
Yeah, it does look like the old hex maps. Yep.
Well, they can't all be beyond the sun. That's all right.
Oh, you mean just like a blank piece of paper?
Yeah, pretty much. Just chart.
Just the chart.
Tech tree.
It's just a tech tree with some chits.
Yeah. BJ will appreciate that one if he's still on. So, anyway.
Well, I see there on the chat he said that Rob is going to make Windmill Valley. It's going to be in his top 100 windmill games of all time.
Oh, I don't know. That's going a big step, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Plus one for Mountain Goats.
Stay tuned.
I was not impressed with Mountain Goats as much as I love Can't Stop. Mountain Goats is fun, but that expansion makes it seem interesting because it adds like a little twist to it that could make it better. So
You'll have to try it with the expansion.
I find Mountain Goat so Can't Stop is cool, but there are times where Can't Stop just won't stop. Like it just won't stop. Like everyone's busting, and the game is not progressing because everyone's busting. Mountain Goats has a more predictable arc. We will get to an end. The 3 mountains will be depleted.
Well, that's only if you just don't know how to play.
Yes, I
Right,
can't stop.
yeah.
I haven't
I
tried
mean,
it.
have no
strategy,
Yeah.
That drag on.
What do you mean? You don't you stop and score points? I keep going until I hit the top.
So that's your problem. Yeah,
It's in the name of the game, Robert. It's in the name.
that's just not how you play.
So it looks like we got a new
I was gonna
comment
say,
here.
Mike.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Puppet O.
What are what are y'all's favorite 2-player games?
I already know mine. Right now, it's Pagan Fate of Roanoke. Well, I should say that and the Undaunted series. I love Undaunted. What is that noise for? Is that you don't agree?
No, just I'm trying to think of my favorite 2 players. Like what the hell,
Well,
man?
Undaunted is like one of the best 2-player games
Undaunted is
ever.
good.
Get out, Robert.
I figured
Get out.
You're going to come with some Hanamakoji or some.
I mean, that's good too. It's
yeah.
not my favorite right
oh,
now.
really?
But
Yeah. No, that's a classic for me. That one's always.
The DJ says Watergate.
Watergate's a good one.
Watergate's not bad. That's the
I
one
would-
we played,
I would-
right?
I would
Carlos?
know
Robert,
if-
we played
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Yeah.
I would know if Carlos didn't snipe it for me in an auction.
Yeah.
Shots fired. What
I only played it once. Never
My
again.
favorite complex 2-player game would be Twilight Struggle. I love Twilight Struggle.
Are we all
I've only
are
played
we all
it.
just grunting now?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I've only played it once, but you always talk about playing it like on the computer because of all the sound effects.
All the sound
and
effects and stuff. Yeah, I play. with
I
my
would love to
brother all
play
the
it that way. That
Yeah.
that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to try
me.
it that way sometime, maybe.
time. 2-player, just general Hanamakoji probably.
That's a good one.
Hanamakoji's way up there for me. Lost
up
Cities is way up there for me. I love some Lost Cities.
Hello, guys.
Well, I was gonna say Seven Wonders Duel. I don't know when we want to break into that
I haven't played it
conversation,
yet.
but
I wanna
tonight
play
we
that.
played the battle for Middle Earth, right?
Let's see, Dan and Rob got to play it, so I've been waiting for them to bring it up as a game they played, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Dan,
we're
what's your
getting there.
favorite 2-player game?
Lately, we've been playing a lot of Fox in the Forest, actually.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
little
really.
trick taker there.
And then Cascadia, been playing that a lot, 2 players with the wife. That one plays really well at 2 players.
That's a good 2-player.
I'm going to look at my board, and I'm going to pick 2-player, not only. I won't say only 2-player.
I think that's
but
what he's going for.
mostly 2-player. So, or designed for 2-player. And on my board, the only one left of all the 2 players that I played this year is War Chest.
War Chest.
War Chest can be played at 4, and it's nice, but it's like it's good.
Disqualified.
It's actually good at 4. It's not disqualified. He said Cascadia, bro. You didn't say nothing when he said Cascadia.
I didn't agree with him.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Targi. Targi's a really good 2-player.
Targi's good. Yeah, I like Targi.
I want to play Targi. I want to buy it, but I want to play it first.
You can borrow mine.
You
You
say
can borrow
that
mine.
now.
Yeah.
He's probably on Amazon getting it right
is
now.
Lost Cities 2-player only, Dan?
Lost Cities and 2-player.
Lost Cities, yeah.
Yes, 2 players
Yeah.
only. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And those are all great, but I'm just looking at so far this year. We're in October. If I haven't played it, like Seven Wonders Duel, I haven't played it this year at all. I have played War Chest, and it's still on my top 20 board. It's currently at number 19. So War Chest, it is a bag building poker chip game.
Yeah.
You're going to have units. I think it's 4 units that you have, and they each work differently. So there's dozens of units in this game.
Yeah, with
and they all have a card that explains how they work. And each player, we're going to draft a set of 4 that we're going to use that game to fight with. We're going to fight on a board, a hex board, for the control of certain locations. The first player to control, I believe it's 3 locations, wins the game. And you're drawing from your bag, and you're playing the chits that you got out of your bag to activate units that are already on the board. But as your units get damaged, those chips get moved out of the game. So you have to make some tough decisions, because if I choose to put the unit on the board, I no longer have it in my bag. And if I no longer have it in my bag, the odds of drawing that unit, that symbol, in order to activate the units that are on the board reduces. So the more units I put on the board, the less chips I have in my bag to activate those units to use them. So there's just a lot of decision space in there. It's really good.
Very similar mechanic to Undaunted. I mean, again, that's the same kind of thing there. You've got the cards, and you've got to decide how to use them. Do you deploy them as agents in the field, or do you
Use it for your initiative?
right,
or-
use them for initiative, or keep it in your hand so that you can activate that the one that you have on the board over and over and over again, because you keep drawing that card and you can play it. So yeah, same kind of idea there as far as trying to decide how to use those units. Yeah.
I think we got a caller on the phone. Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, it's BJ from Morgan Gumbo.
Hey, BJ. You made it a call-in show. Thank you.
Somebody save us.
I like hanging out in the chat.
Yeah, all right. Well, nothing wrong with that. We appreciate the chatters.
No, everything wrong with that. We need y'all to call.
Yeah, well, all right.
I can't talk long because I'm heading to my weekly Can't Stop strategy session. It's like a 12-month-long program.
Oh, yeah, 12-step
We're,
program.
we're only on the 3rd month.
Yeah.
There's so much depth in that game.
I'm glad
But I wanted to personally
somebody
invite
agrees.
you guys. A personal invite.
Okay.
All right, all right.
Baseball Highlights 2045. For any of you out there that are going to BGG Con over in Dallas coming up in 3 weeks, we're hosting, me and Berkey from Game Toppers LLC,
Nice.
we're hosting a world championship
Oh, boy.
of Baseball Highlights 2045.
We-
We're going to have 3 former world champions there. We're going to have free promos. We're going to have prizes. And we're going to have a couple of special guests that I can't name now, but you could probably figure it out if you know what Baseball Highlights 2045 is all about. And we'd love to see you guys there.
Nice.
I'll tell you what, BJ. Why don't you ask Carlos how his sessions of baseball highlights went when he was trying to hold a tournament at.
Oh, it was a dud. I think like 2 people
Hey,
showed up.
I've seen,
I was
I've seen
in-
Carlos play.
Carlos loves that game.
Yeah,
No, I bought like 4 copies in order to host a tournament at your turn, and I think it was like me and Diego.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
So in defense, I was in the middle of the game. I would have played that tournament. But can I pour salt
you
on
didn't.
Carlos? I didn't. But can I pour salt on Carlos's run? Diego sold the copy he won.
To be fair,
I even bought a copy to give away as a prize.
Wow.
Diego sells damn near everything.
Yeah,
that
he does.
owns,
Yeah, he
so-
does. Yeah.
I've gotten so much 3D board game upgrades from Diego. I would never hold anything against him.
No, he's a
I
good
hold
guy.
him harmless.
Good guy.
It's such a good game. It's my favorite hand management game with deck building elements. I just love it. I think it does a great job of capturing, a futuristic, super speedy baseball game. But it's and it's fun as a 2-player game.
I got
but
2
it's
copies
really
right here
cool
behind
as
Mike's
a
head.
tournament.
Like right here.
It's really cool
prominent.
as a tournament. I've played in a couple of big tournaments over at Dice Tower. We've played in, I think the biggest one we ever did was like 32 players.
Whoa.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Isn't it the Phil
I don't know
guy
how many-
that's the champion?
Yes, Philip Millman is helping us. He's going to be one of the celebrity judges, and he'll also play. Berkey will be there. He's a former world champion
He
also.
destroyed me.
And Jack Rosa wow, what a great name. That guy must be super smart, Jack Rosa. He's also a former world champion, and he will be there. My son lives in Dallas, so he's gonna go to the convention. But he wants to defend. He wants to see if he can take down Philip, because Philip has beat him ever since Jack won. Philip has been just on a streak, so it's gonna be great.
And if I remember, isn't there a trophy? Do y'all have a trophy for that?
The Ralphie will be there.
There you
and
go.
In fact,
The Ralph.
his namesake, Ralph Anderson, one of the co-designers, is going to be in the tournament. So I'm
Excellent.
telling you, I don't want to mention the other special guest just in case he doesn't show up, but you guys could probably figure out who I'm
If we
talking
keep
about.
BJ on
But
the phone long enough, he's just going to
He's
tell
gonna
us
spill the beans.
everybody.
He's going to tell us.
Who is it? Tell us. Who is it?
Is
Who
it
it?
I'm not telling you. I'm not
is
telling
it
you.
a general
You
game
could-
designer, man?
Is it the former
It's a,
owner
gen-
of Stronghold
it's a
Games?
big name game designer, and his name rhymes with Schmeich Schmitz-Gerald. So I'm not.
I had a feeling. Yeah. I actually learned the
Yeah.
game from him. I played with Rob Oren at my second Dice Tower. Rob and I were there, and the game was just coming out, and we signed up ahead of time. And there was about 30 of us. They put us in a room. They paired us up head to head, and he was walking around teaching the game to everybody. So I actually got to learn from the designer right after it came
Nice.
out. So it was nice. I immediately picked up a copy of it. But yeah, it's a solid game. Really good
Yes.
deck building. Yep.
He's a wonderful guy and a great designer. I have one of his oldest designs. I got to bring it to him this time. I actually have a copy that I bought when I was a young lad of Wyvern, a card game he designed many, many years ago when Magic had come out. He designed this dragon-based Magic the Gathering style game, trading card game. And I still have my copy. I'm staring at it right here.
Nice.
It's pretty old.
Go get
Maybe
it
I can get him
signed.
to sign it. But I will tell you, Berkey's got just a few left, and he's going to have them at BGG-Con. So any of your listeners that are going to BGG-Con, Berkey's going to be bringing some of his brand new 3mm double stitched baseball highlights 2-person mats. And if you haven't seen them, the
They are
original
nice.
Eagle Griffin mats are nice, but the Game Toppers mats are just phenomenal. I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah.
just pop with color. So
Sweet.
he's going to have some for sale, and we may be giving out some as prizes for some
Oh
of the winners.
man, I've got the Eagle Griffin mat, and it's nice. But that Berkey one
Yeah, it's
fitting
all right.
right in the game topper we got here would be great.
Ugh.
And you
I
say
know.
that's going to be at
Come-
BGG-Con in Dallas?
It'll be on that Saturday of BGG-Con, so that's whatever the Saturday is, 16th, 18th, whatever it is. It'll be from 1 to 5. We have a room reserved. We've got door prizes. Berkey's going to have some promos, the Berkey Puckett, I think it is, the Berkey Puckett cards, which I don't think I actually have. So I'm going to snag one of those promos myself.
Yeah.
But he's going to be handing those out to all the players. And I mean, he's already lined up the prizes, so it should be great. They're going to have some They're going to have some proto copies of the new baseball highlights stuff that's coming out in that last Kickstarter, and I think we're going to be playing on the brand new spring editions. So
Oh, cool.
it'll be fun. It's going to be a great tournament. Love to see you guys or anybody out there in Beans Dice Land out there.
Man.
Mitchell's going to be there, by the way.
Oh, is he really?
Mitchell is actually alive. Yeah.
Making the trip. Yeah, he's still out there, huh? Haven't heard from
Lies,
him in a while.
lies.
I
You
got
haven't- you haven't-
Lies, yeah.
I got a text from him this
Yeah.
week, so I was glad to chat with him on text. I was glad to see he is alive.
Sweet.
He's been busy. He had to land this SpaceX rocket right back
Oh, yeah.
on the. I don't know if you saw him. That was him.
On the dime.
Yeah, he landed that thing.
Inside
landed
those
it right on the
chopstick
top.
arms.
So now,
Oh yeah.
BJ, I know you're from Louisiana. You love the food. Have you tried Berkey's like seasoning things that he sells? That like specials? Like,
Yeah. So I've had the Happy Mouth seasoning. I don't have any now. I'm out. But if you haven't tried it, his Happy Mouth beef jerky, the jerky that he makes, whatever, I can't remember what it's called. It's phenomenal. He usually carries around with him. So if you ask him, he'll give you a little piece. But
Nice.
yeah, I've tried both the Happy Mouth seasoning and I've tried the beef jerky.
I really like how Dan had to sit back because I feel like he's holding something back. Although it is after 10.
I
Little
threw it out
Happy
there
Mouth
knowing
jerky.
that Dan would have to make a comment, right?
Happy Mouth beef.
It's just too easy. I'm gonna let it go.
No, all
Hey,
the,
it's
all
not
the,
after. It's not after dark yet. There, it's not after dark yet.
no, it's
Oh
past-
yeah,
past
Louisiana.
my
It's
father's
Louisiana.
Yeah.
We're in the future.
in all of the promos that Berkey does for game toppers and stuff, he always talks about his like side gig where he does like seasonings and spices and jerkies and stuff. And I'm like, I kind of want to try that more than I need the game topper. Like,
So you really want to try the Happy Mouth?
I do want to try the Happy Mouth.
Okay.
Wouldn't you like to have Berkey's Happy Mouth right in your mouth? Right?
Yes, exactly.
These commercials write themselves.
I know they do.
It's a hit.
Yikes.
All right, well, great show, guys.
Always a
I'm
pleasure,
usually
BJ.
lurking in the chat, but I figured, I know Carlos loves baseball highlights 24/5.
Oh, man.
So I wanted.
Copies.
I
I
want to make sure
got the spring training copies. I thought was amazing idea. That small box $20 game. I think I bought 4 of those. Gave away a few. I'm an evangelist as much as I can. I just it's just me right now. It's just me and Rob.
Yeah.
All right, direct flight, Tampa to Dallas.
You're making me
Jump
hate
on it.
that
Southwest
I
Airlines.
don't have a ticket.
Yeah, I'm regretting that. Good night.
All right,
Appreciate it. Thanks,
talk to
BJ.
you guys later.
Thanks, BJ.
Happy Mouth.
Anyway.
Phone lines open 813-618-7099 is the number. That was BJ from Board Game Gumbo calling in to talk about BGG Con coming up. They're hosting a tournament for Baseball Highlights 2045.
Which
Phone
is
lines are
one
open.
of his favorite 2-player games, which is what we were discussing.
Yeah. So I got my 2-player game in its war chest. Mike, you had
I picked 2. I cheated, but Pagan, Fate of Roanoke, and any of the Undaunted games.
Dan went with a good 4-player game, Cascadia.
Great 4-player game.
So was yours, man. What are you talking about?
And I think mine, I'm going to go with, Lost Cities. I think just because it's just a deck of cards, you just put it in your pocket, and I just love the way that game plays out. So many times I've played it, and just the back and forth in that, playing it over 3 rounds. I really like Lost Cities. Great 2-player game. Yeah. Anyway, what did BJ say there?
In the chat, he says, Baseball Highlights 2045 is my favorite 32-player game.
There you go. Yes.
I even bought the tournament kit. They sell kits on Eagle Griffin Game.
You own it all. We know. You've got everything they've ever made.
But no, think about it. Think about a game where they purposely sell a kit so that you can throw a 32-player tournament. Like all the rules, all the token sheets, the brackets. Eagle Griffin's doing it right.
You just needed 30 more players. Yeah?
30 more friends. Yeah. 30 more friends is what he needs.
Thanks,
Dan.
I want to try this game just because in the last couple weeks I've watched more baseball than I probably watched in like the last 10 years. With
Oh,
the
I'm
Mets,
sorry.
the Mets
Playoffs.
and the Yankees in the playoffs.
World Series, yeah.
Now it's So I've been watching a lot of baseball. So
All right, Rob and I are okay with that. And you make it
Yeah,
over
I'll play.
to the studio. That's something we'll definitely play.
Yeah, I like it.
I know Rob and I put it on video one time. And at the end of the day, what stinks for me is my boys grew up playing baseball, and I tried to teach it to my oldest boy. And I guess it's that stretch of that theme was just too far for him. Like he just didn't hit, and I was very disappointed. I was like really hoping this would be the game we can connect with.
Didn't hit.
Like when I'm old, and he has I've got grandkids at his house. I can go over there and play with him. And that moment of disappointment that he did not like it really hurt.
Edmund's in the chat.
Hey, Edmund.
good morning. Great to see you.
Good morning. Good morning in Sweden.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Good morning. That's German. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are we rolling along? We got to do the 7 Wonders Duel Battle for Middle Earth.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Oh,
Let's
I
do
want
it.
to hear.
I got a copy of it. We set it up on the board. I taught it to Dan and Rob, so that was a recent play for them.
Carlos got to watch us play his copy for the first time ever before he's even played it. So that was always.
They got their hands all over my stuff
Yeah.
before I even got to
real?
play
Like,
it.
Carlos, you haven't even played it yet.
It's
No,
not.
I taught it.
Oh.
I taught it. I'm a good host. I'm a good host.
Yeah.
You come over, you can play with my new games.
play with his stuff.
And Mike taught Robotrick
Yeah.
and didn't play.
Yes,
so
he did.
he taught.
I ate dinner though.
But he was eating wings, so that was a thing. So, all right, Dan, kick us off. What do you? What was your opinion? Well, should we set it up a little bit first? So, I mean,
Yeah, what is it? What is the game?
this is 7 Wonders Duel. It is. All right, I'm gonna put a thing on here. I'm gonna say 80%, 70%, 70 to 80%, in my opinion, of 7 Wonders Duel with just a new theme on it. I mean, there is enough in this to make it different. But for those of you who don't know 7 Wonders Duel, you're playing just the real quick, high, dirty version of it here. You're playing over 3 rounds. You are drafting cards out of I'll say a pyramid, even though one's a pyramid, then you're doing a reverse pyramid, and then you're doing some weird shape that I don't know what to call it, just some kind of thing. But you're drafting cards. Some of them are face up, some of them are face down. You have 3 ways to win. So the regular Seven Wonders Duel had 3 ways. This one has 3 ways. They are definitely slightly different. 3 ways to win. In this one, I won't go over all Seven Wonders Duel, even though that is a well-documented. That's still well within the top 100 on the BGG list. I'm sure it's in the top 20-ish, maybe not 20, maybe 30 or 40. I haven't looked in a while, but it's a very highly regarded 2-player game. But basically, you're drafting cards to allow you to do different actions. In this one, the 3 ways that you can win is there is an area control board that has 7 regions. We can count them again real quick, but yeah, Dan's showing it off there. There's 7 different regions, and so if you have presence in any of the region or in all of 7 regions, it's an instant win. So you just automatically win the game. There is another way to win by collecting the different what are they? Civilizations, factions. Faction tokens? Race tokens. Okay. So you've got, is there 7 of those also, I believe?
6
plus 1 in the on the tokens themselves. So there's a symbol on the tokens.
That can get you another one. So the way you collect these are some of the cards in the game are like were they technologies in Seven Wonders Duel. But if you get a pair of matching symbols on the green cards in this game, you then can take one of the civilization tokens, or you take 2. I'm sorry, you'll keep one, but you take 2 of the 3 that are in the game. So they're shuffled up. You take the top 2. You can look at both of them and keep one. 4 of the 6 give you an ongoing ability through the rest of the game. The last 2 give you a one-time action that you can take, so it's a token you keep, and then you can trigger it as a one-time action. But another instant win is if you have at least one of each of the different race tokens. The idea being that if you are the free folk, that you have united all the different races in Middle Earth, and you win by uniting everyone. As far as Sauron and the dark side, you have corrupted all of the different races, and so you win that way. And then Mike is playing with probably the coolest little toy.
This is the coolest part of this game when I watched a review. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can kind of show it off there a little bit too. So you've got this, is it like a
in the box
plexiglass?
is the actual Nazgul.
Oh, okay. So you've got this this little track that slides. It's a cardboard track, and then over top of it is a dual layer kind of sliding plexiglass slider. I don't know what you would call it. It's almost like a slide rule that you use in math. And so the Nazgul are chasing the ring bearers, and so the ring bearers are moving along the main track, trying to get the ring to Mount Doom so that they can deposit the ring into the Doom.
Get that glare out of there.
If they reach the end of the track, it's an auto win for the good guys. If the Nazgul ever catch up to the ring bearers on their little sliding track, which slides on top of the other one, then they win instantly by catching, and taking over the ring. And so one of the cool concepts is that the Nazgul never fall further behind. You can never, as the ring bearers, you can never increase that gap. So as the Nazgul catch up, you've got to start making an effort to move towards Mount Doom so that you can get that ring deposited, or hope that you can hold off the Nazgul long enough that they don't catch you. So as you move along those tracks, there's also some little bonus actions like getting a coin, placing a soldier out on the main board. But that is the third way that you can win the game. And then, Carlos, again, remind me, if nobody reaches one of those 3 victories, the in-game...
So if after Chapter 3 all the cards have been taken and no one has won an instant victory, the way to win is through whoever has the most presence on the central board, which is the map. There's 7 spots there.
Area control one.
And if that's still tied, then you're both losers.
Yeah, everybody loses. So, there are enough similarities to this to the original Seven Wonders Duel that again, you still got these 3 different win conditions. The slider, it's the coolest toy aspect in the game. It's also probably the most unique. And in the original Seven Wonders Duel, you just had a tug of war for a military victory, and so it's just a static board, and you're just moving a chit back and forth. If I play some shield tokens, it moves towards you. If it ever reaches your end of the track, you lose. If it ever comes to my end of the track all the way, then I lose. And so you're just kind of pushing this thing back and forth. This little sliding track with these different abilities or bonuses that you gain by moving up that track, I think is really interesting. And I guess now thinking back to Seven Wonders Duel, you did have some things. If you reach certain points, you could make your opponent discard coins. Or
you got money, I think. Wasn't it that you got money?
Was it or discard? Yeah, I can't
remember. But yeah, something with money.
But
yeah.
This one feels cooler. There are 3 different unique things, the little milestones that you hit on these tracks, which I thought was really neat. So I had played the game more recently than Dan. Had played Seven Wonders Duel more recently. He had played it a long time ago, so it took him a little bit to remember and have the game come back to him. Although he beat me, so I'm not saying that was a handicap at all. But just as far as your memory then of the original Seven Wonders Duel and this one, what did you think, Dan? Was it different enough? I guess the real question is it different enough that this is a game that people should go and get, or is this too much like the old game that it's not something people should run out and get if they own the old one?
I prefer this one.
Okay.
If you have Seven Wonders Duel already, you're not adding much by buying this, unless it's just you really like the Lord of the Rings.
Right.
If I had to pick between the two and I didn't have either one, then I would purchase this one if I was going to buy a game.
Okay. I'm not completely sold on it yet, and I'm going to be curious to get our Carlos's opinion on it, even though he didn't play. I mean, he watched us play pretty much the whole game, and I definitely need to play it a little bit more. I thought that this was clearly going to be an upgrade in every way, and there's some things I'm just not sure. The area control board doesn't sound. I love the slider. I love the Nazgul chasing the ring bear.
Did you get the feel of tension? Like did the Nazgul get like close to?
No, because we spent most of our time really battling on the area control board. We never really got that close there, but I could see how that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, games will feel different, I think, depending on how the cards come up and how people draft.
There's not enough different to where you should have both.
I agree. I think if you have, and I have one of the 3 expansions for Seven Wonders Duel. Both. Yeah, he's got 2 of the 3.
You only need Pantheon though.
Yeah, there's the ship one that neither one of us ever got. There was one about you could send
the
ships
political one. That one, yeah, the political one's bad.
Yeah.
The Pantheon's good.
Yeah, Pantheon's good. Pantheon, I think
the one with the
is
senators, I think it was no good.
Yeah, right. So, but with this, I love the slider, the Nazgul chasing the ring bears. I think that part was really cool. The thing that threw me, and again, it was ultimately my demise, was that area control aspect. There was definitely another level of thought having to go into that. Again, just because of the way that, all right, so Dan can do this. He can put some guys over there. He can kill my guys. He can move in. He's now going to have presence everywhere. So Carlos had to keep me off at the end of the game right before Dan won. That Robert,
Rob, if he goes to that one spot, like the whole game's over. Like he's gonna kill you.
I was like, oh yeah. I probably should try to stop that. So I stopped that, and then Dan just came in another way and just took it anyway. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not completely sold, and I think having the Pantheon expansion with Seven Wonders Duel, I'm definitely not running out to get this one. I would say if you don't have either, this one is probably a cool jumping on point. I think this one's probably as good.
I'm very surprised. I thought the box would be the same size as the Seven Wonders Duel box. This is like almost a full size box.
Yeah, it's the other one was just a square. So yeah, I guess
there's not much in it. Yeah. There's really not much that comes into the box. I think it's just I need a bigger box to advertise Vincent Dutray's beautiful artwork.
Yeah.
True.
Like that's what it does. It's beautiful presence on the table, on the shelf at the store. What I got out of watching you guys play, the board, the control board, it appeared to feel a lot more different than the tug-of-war track of Seven Wonders Duel.
Yes.
Where in the tug-of-war track of Seven Wonders Duel, it would normally get to a place where one player pushes it nearly to the other opponent's side, and at that point, I'm just mitigating you from breaching my city wall. Yeah. So I'll take it a couple red cards here and there just to kind of push you back, knowing that eventually you'll run out of red cards. And you'll never get to break through that. Where I felt here, there was a little more brain burn in figuring out, can I hold you off? because as you got into the third chapter, so the first chapter and the second chapter, we didn't see a lot of movement cards on the tableau for moving units around.
There were none, yeah.
Or for really adding units. You were slowly adding units, but you weren't really able to move your armies. As we got into the third chapter and as you guys started buying landmarks, I started seeing y'all begin to maneuver units in order to combat and take over area. So I feel like it'll be harder for me to grok what is the exact situation on this board, which is good, right? That's more decision space.
More thinking.
More thinking.
For sure, yeah.
Right? Instead of just, okay, I'll take 2 swords so that I can stop you from breaching the wall. Here I have to put units down, move them to the right places, take the right landmarks in order to get fortresses for presence. I love that fortress for presence piece, where instead of 7 wonder cards, right, because normally in 7 Wonders Duel, you got these 7 wonder cards that you're trying to build individually. In this game, there are 3 landmarks that we each go after. So it's not like you have your 3 7 wonders and I have my 3 7 wonders in 7 Wonders Duel. Here, there are 3 landmarks and we're each fighting for them. And they each do a lot when it comes to moving and putting units on the board. So really fighting for those 3 each chapter is huge. It's a big part of the game. It's the instant win.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Because y'all focus so much energy on the board, I didn't feel or see the presence of the Nazgul pressure.
Right.
But I did note that Dan was winning that race. So Dan was pulling a lot of blue cards with the rings on them in order to move those Nazgul closer to the ring bearer. Rob was slowly getting there.
I was keeping an eye on it, but I didn't feel the pressure. He was really not that close, and I kept seeing, I was kind of counting that, oh, no, he's still 6 spots back. You know, if I needed to, I could grab a few ring cards and hold them off. So that kind of, again, felt a little more like the tug of war from the old one, because I felt until he gets close, I don't even need to worry about it. And then once he gets close, unless I just get unlucky and I can't grab any of the rings, then I could probably hold that off and not let him catch me. So I will say, though, I wonder, though, and this will, again, only repeat plays is going to help this, but the area control board, I wonder if that is going to lengthen the game, because as I mentioned as we were playing, in the original 7 Wonders Duel, I played a ton of that. The first age is always the quickest, the second's a little bit slower, and the third, you just get more actions on the cards, there's more to look at, and you're coming closer to the end game, so you're thinking a little more. In this one, in the third age, both Dan and I, there were points that I really noticed, like really noticed, that we were just kind of staring at the board, counting, doing math, like, okay, if he moves there, I can go there, and then he can do that, and then I can kill that, and then I can probably hold that off, and I need 2 more spots. And there were a couple of spots where the game came to a screeching halt on each of our turns. I did it a couple times. I know I saw Dan do it a couple of times, and it was like, it wasn't, taking 10 minutes to make a decision, but there were definite points where it was like the game was moving, and it's like, hold on. Let's stop, and we were taking in the situation, and I just wonder how, as we become more familiar with the game, maybe that won't be as big a deal, but it seems like it added to that playtime, and it was like that third age, as we were approaching the end of the game, really felt like it got more thinky and got a lot longer than I kind of would have liked. So
until Dan swooped in, took Arnor, and won the game.
Yep, there you go. So
How long did it take us to play it?
Less than 40 minutes.
Yeah. I
so
mean,
it wasn't too bad.
It's only calls what's on the box. It says 30, so that's accurate. I'm sure once we know it a
know the game better.
Yeah.
Well, I was really hoping y'all would get deeper into the third chapter, because Dan really did end it fairly early in the third chapter. I didn't get to see all those face down cards in that third chapter. I was really looking forward to those purple cards, because they did have a bigger impact on the board placement.
Sorry, I'm so efficient.
Well, that's where Dan
Way to
used
go, Dan.
He used a couple of the purple cards to end the game, though, because he took 2 of them twice. That allowed him to move units, and that's where he was able to move in, take me out, and control.
Or we could say
areas,
you allowed him to take 2 of the purple cards, because that's what it is in these 7 Wonder Duel style games. Is you allowed him to draft those cards.
Because I took landmarks, and I was trying to get my castles down to have permanent presence in a couple of areas, and I thought I could beat him because I only needed 2 more areas, and when he only needed 1, so it was really those last couple of areas coming down to it, and I just didn't realize that he was a turn ahead of me. So, but yeah.
Component-wise, this game is gorgeous. Like, this game comes with screen-printed meeples for the soldiers and the fortresses. The cardboard is thick. The cards have just gorgeous artwork from Vincent Dutray. Very bright, very vibrant. Everything that Ron said last week when he called in, Wayne, is accurate about the artwork on this game. I'm really looking forward to getting some more plays in for me getting my first play, but really feeling out the story arc. I want to see the cards and connect them to the story elements in the books and see, does it really arc out? Wait, I'm not even on camera. Does it really arc out that way? Do the 3 chapters provide you the narrative arc of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings story? There you go. I say if you got Seven Wonders Duel regular, go out and buy this one. This one's good.
Really? Even if you got the regular? Yeah.
It's so different, like artwork wise, theme wise.
Wait a minute. So I don't own Seven Wonders Duel, but I like collecting 2-player games. I think I'm going to buy this in lieu of Seven Wonders Duel.
Well, and you're a Lord of the Rings fan anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the cards are bigger here too. It does take more table space. Did you notice that, Rob?
For sure.
With the central board and the cards being a bigger card.
Yep.
It is more of a table hog, but you need the bigger cards to show the artwork.
And we've talked about this, though, the Seven Wonders Duel being a game that we have played at pubs. We've taken it to Beef O'Brady's and played it, over chicken wings and stuff. This is going to make that a little more difficult to do. There's more table space here. That area control board is something you don't have in the other one, so the cards are bigger. The area control board's another element to it. So this is not as portable as the regular Seven Wonders Duel.
Yes, it is. It is more of a board game now.
Yeah. So.
I mean, but there's more than 2 games, so you can take something else with you.
No, you could. Yeah, but this is one we enjoyed just taking out and playing. Again, I think this is probably still the #1 game on BGG as far as a 2-player only game. I think Seven Wonders Duel probably, again, I haven't looked in a while, but for years and years, this was the #1 2-player game of all
Seven
time.
Wonders Duel?
Yes, Seven Wonders Duel, yeah. So I'm sure it probably is still, but so interesting. We'll see how it plays out. Again, my opinion is if you own Seven Wonders Duel, especially with 1 or 2 of the expansions, I would say definitely try this before you replace. I wouldn't just go out and my assumption, again, coming in, my assumption is that this was going to be better in pretty much every way. I just assumed, hey, they probably have cleaned some stuff up. They've streamlined some stuff. The little toy aspect of the slider seemed really cool. But after a play, I wasn't as impressed as I thought I'd be. What is it?
Rob is right. Seven Wonders Duel, overall, #19, top 20.
Okay, still in top 20.
Overall, still in top
all
20.
games ever made. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's our thoughts on it. But I've got to get lots more plays in before I can have a real good opinion on it.
I need some metal coins for this one.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right,
Anyway,
folks.
Yeah.
That gets us to the. Oh, that gets us to sorry,
Robotrick.
That gets us to Robotrick.
That's what he was saying. That gets us to Robotrick.
At this point, I'll shut down the phone lines to allow us to wrap it up.
Get ready to say, shut that cat up. Let's go.
It's been a while since the cat's been on air.
Yeah.
Mike came into town, and of course, he brought a bag full of trick-taking games because that's what he does. He shows up with trick-taking games in trade for chicken wings. He taught Robotrick. So Robotrick is a 3-player only trick-taking game that is now on my wish list. And Wayne, if you got some contacts in Japan, like this one's got to happen. This is okay. So 3-player trick
Let's put
taking.
it this way, Wayne.
That was high on my list, and every game store I walked into, like, no, sold out. No, don't carry.
Carlos didn't even get through his first round, and he's like,
I played like 2 cards.
Yeah. Oh, I like this game. Yeah, I got to have this game.
So Mike introduced me to another 3-player trick taking. There's not many 3-player trick taking games in the world.
3-player only.
3-player only.
Yeah.
12 Chip Trick was one that Mike introduced me to, and we really enjoyed it. My family liked it. It has some good mechanisms
That's
in
a lot
there.
lighter than this one, though.
Yes, it is. And what this game has as a 3-player only trick taking game is it keeps that greedy mitigation in the game, right? So like good trick taking games have that. If you get too many books, if you shoot the moon and you don't make it, you lose, right? So there's that whole idea of that. Here, the way it does it is if you're gonna win points on the first 3 tricks that you win. any subsequent trick that you win after that are going to become negative points. So it's really key that you win a trick when it's advantageous to win a trick. Winning a trick for a 1-point book is useless.
Well,
Right?
not
Not
necessarily.
useless. It's 1 point.
There's a lot of negative points in this game.
Yes. I'll take a positive 3 every round. That's all right.
Yeah.
I think the winner was at 2 points
Was
after
it?
3 rounds.
Yeah. 2 points. Yeah. There you go.
Negative 2.
Negative 2 points
Negative 2 was the winner.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, not only that is once you win your third trick, also throughout the entire game, any trick that you lose against the robot also comes back to you as negative points as well. So
That damn robot.
the damn robot.
Oh, Dan found it online. The Robotrick game comes with this 4th player, and it's not an automa, it's a robot. And
AI.
an AI card. So you're flipping these AI cards that will dictate how that robot will play. If the robot is leading, it'll provide a rule, which could be something along the lines of all your suits, your highest suit. Here, let me give you a better camera for that. Number 2.
Where am I?
Over there. Yeah, the cannon. If you have if the robot is leading, it's going to say play the lowest card from its
Shortest stack.
shortest stack.
Yeah.
If it's following, the rules can be different. It could be it will follow, and you have to follow the card. You have to match the card and follow it. It will follow playing the highest card from its shortest
just one
stack.
rule.
Oh, is it always one rule?
Because if it follows, it already knows what suit it's playing.
Yeah, it's
from.
following.
So
And
it's
then
either gonna
if
be
it
its highest
can't
or its
follow,
lowest. Yeah.
it'll tell you which stack it plays from.
Right.
So the robot, you can tell how it's going to play based on how you play. So if you're leading, you know when I play this card, this is how the robot will act. So you're really trying to balance your play against the robot, knowing that if the robot wins the trick, whatever card you played is going to come back to you as negative points. The higher value the card you play, the higher the points are on that card, meaning if you play a high card and the robot wins, you're getting more negative points. And that balance of figuring that out in your head was so much fun.
And all the robot cards are face up. I don't know if you said that, but they're all face up. So you see all of the robot's cards. So you're not just knowing that it's going to play the highest green card and you don't know if it has a green card or how high that green card is. You can see exactly how high its highest green card is. But
Yep.
Go ahead, Mike.
And you're also taking out 3 cards of the game. So even if you're really good at counting cards, because
Imperfect.
it's 4 suits, 1 to 13, there's always going to be some sort of mystery as to is that card still in play in somebody's hand or that as well. And at the beginning of each round, you are taking 2 cards from your hand and passing them to the person to your left. So you're also
Oh, that's fun.
you're also mitigating crap out of your hand and trying to set up the other person with some big losses from their hand as well.
It was great to see because Rob pulled this shenanigan where he got rid of his 2 green cards and passed them to me so that the first time somebody played a green card in that suit, Rob could just play off suit.
Throw off.
Yes.
Yep.
And being able to throw off is huge
Yeah.
in any trick taking game. But in this one, even more because you're fighting not just 2 other people, you're fighting this robot.
True.
Yep.
So if you guys, well, Dan's played this before. Yep. Dan, how'd you feel about playing it again?
With the correct rules.
This time.
With the trump
No,
card.
I liked it when we played it at Dice Tower West, and I liked it again. It's definitely one that if someone wants to play it, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan or Rob, what'd you think?
It was good. I liked it. The wrapping your head around how the robot's going to act, and then trying to turn that into strategy was the complex part here. I know both me and Carlos were struggling with that a little bit. It was like, hold on,
First time around,
he's going to do what? He's going to play the highest. What? Okay, so he's going to play that. So do I want to win or do I want to lose? Do I want to go high on this one or do I want to go low? And then the real unique thing again is that and you guys all touched on this a little bit, but the cards' values are worth different amounts. So the 8 I think is always worth 8, but like the 13 is worth 10 or
15.
whatever, or 15 is worth
right.
15. So it's not an exact correlation. So but trying to figure out, so you only score for the first 3, you only score positive points for the first 3 tricks that you take. So sometimes you're trying to stick somebody, you're like, I'm fine if Carlos wins that one, because that one's only worth 1 point. And if
I think in the last round, y'all fed me 2 wins of 1 point cards.
Right. So I was going to say, if I can give him 2 or 3 ones, that's great. And then if we keep feeding him cards, then every one he takes after that's negative points. But even if we don't, he's at best only getting like 3 points. And then I could try to take those 8-point, 10-point cards and grab those. And
but if you cross your wires like one time, that happened to me a few times. Like my wires got crossed. Like,
screw you.
Yeah. I'm going to get rid of this high point card because I don't want to take it as negative points, knowing that the robot's going to win.
Right.
Knowing that means that card's coming right back to me as negative points. Like,
right. And
if you're not paying attention and playing the right cards, you're skater out of luck.
Also, so when the points that you get, like if you win the trick, you take the robot's card that he played,
right,
and then those are the points that you're going to get. But if you lose whatever card you played, it comes back to you.
If
as
all
negative
players
points.
lose. Right.
Right.
If
Well,
all
like the
players
robot
lose and the robot wins,
right, if the robot
every
wins.
player takes their card back as negative points.
Correct. So
Sometimes you're praying like Rob wins. Like, Rob, please win, because if the robot wins, I got to take this 10-point card back.
right.
Yep.
And you're pretty much always going to get a card back as negative at some point. So you have to figure out, like, when do I dump this high card so I don't get the high negative points, and always play the low cards when you're going to lose, so at least you're only getting minimal negative points back.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think, Carlos?
Deep. It was crunchy, but not. All right, when you tried to explain it without the cards on the table, you were just talking through it. I'm just blinking away like I have no idea what's going on here. What is this robot? What do you mean by stacks? What do you mean by rules? And then once we played that, Dan kept looking at me and just saying, just play the first round. Just play the first round. So we did it. We played the first round, and it just made sense. The AI flow is so simple on that chart. And then the great part is there a deck? It's a deck of AI cards. So every round that you play, the robot will play different. And the robot moves around the board. So round 1, the robot, it was between Rob and I. Right? Round 2, the robot moves between Dan and I. And then round 3, the final round of the game, the robot moves between Robert and Dan.
Right.
So that way the robot's kind of playing against different players. You know how sometimes trick-taking games are important in seed order, right? Seeding order matters sometimes in trick-taking games because that inexperienced player is going to feed you some good stuff. That robot moves around to equally distribute the pain that the robot delivers.
It's got some interesting things going on for sure. Some different mechanics in it. Yep.
All in a small deck of cards. Like, why? How come nobody's brought this stateside?
I don't know. There are tons of games like this in Japan, though. Like I could have brought so many other trick takers, but I've talked this up so much, and I figured, I was thinking like just the 3 of us would be here. I'll teach it, but I'm glad that Dan was here because I was able to eat while teaching you guys.
Yay!
And this is from that Seattle group, that organization that does the Trick Taking Federation or something.
It's the Portland Trick Taking whatever
commune.
Group.
Y'all are all
something like
barefoot,
that.
growing your own food, kind of a deal.
Yeah, so a lot of the times there's like somebody from the group will be going to Japan, so they'll say, I'm going to buy 20 copies of this, if we get enough people in, and then you get buy-ins and stuff like that. But there's also other people. I think there's one other person on the group that actually owns a like an importing store for exactly this, for like out of the country trick takers. So, but yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it.
That's a good one. I enjoyed it. I want to play it again. Yep.
Cool.
All right, Carlos.
All right, folks.
Now you can
Now
wind
it's
us down.
time.
Yeah.
That closes us out. Next week is Halloween. So I know I'm going to be with the family. I do not want to cancel. We've had this last month with Storm, so I don't want to do no show. If we do a show, gentlemen, I'm thinking 10 o'clock start time. So we just start with right after dark, like go right into after dark.
Just do like an hour.
Right, just do an hour, 10 to 11 Eastern time. That way we can get the kids out, do the activities, and get them all to bed.
Yeah.
So that'll be the plan.
Realize I will be probably pretty inebriated.
Oh, yeah.
After dark
Oh,
for a reason.
Oh, we have our neighborhood has there's 50 kids all get together. We order pizza, and then all the parents got the coolers, like the
Oh,
strolling
boy.
coolers with booze. And in our neighborhood, there are multiple like cul-de-sacs with like giant food put out and bars and stuff. And Halloween's big in my neighborhood. There's like full bars at houses and buffets, and then kids run around and getting. My kid got like 15 pounds of candy last year at Halloween.
Whoa.
It was insane. Yeah.
Nice.
Neighborhood. Yeah.
Sounds like a good neighborhood.
It is a good neighborhood.
Yeah, we have so many young kids here that just not in my kids' age range anymore. So it's kind of quiet during Halloween. I sit out there and I'll have my cooler and just sit out there and give out candy while wifey takes the kids around. So we'll plan to do 10 o'clock Eastern time. If that changes, we'll post up on the YouTube and let y'all know. Be sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Be sure that you're getting the alerts on there. Make sure you tell it all alerts. I've been posting a lot of our updates on the YouTube community post. So I've been trying to use that to be more effective at updating the YouTube community with what we got going on. So for example, today I posted pictures of Dan and Rob playing Seven Wonders Duel. So get in there, check out the YouTube, like and subscribe. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
Dan.
And I'm Wayne.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, and I realized that I hadn't posted a podcast in like a month, so I uploaded like a whole bunch of them all at one time. So there's like 5 of them up there for you.
Enjoy it.
All those notices. Yeah.